And Pimp be on the mission for that green. Yeah, that's showing the real love right there. That's showing. You can't get more respect than that. You can't get more respect than that. You feel me? And that's real.
You already know the vibes, Papa. That's the big hope.
Hey, Papa, before we even start this, man, I want to start by first commending you and tell my motherfucking brim to you, G homie, for always standing on what you believe, what is positive. Trying to get rid of that narrative of negativity. Like, first and foremost, we in the Eastern District. The Eastern District was started because Corey King couldn't speak in Sleepless in LA and all of that. But he a homie and he from New York. So we don't want him silent. I go up in there. It's most of my west side ops. You know what I'm saying? Dudes on the west side of LA. So they ain't trying to hear what I'm saying, and if they do, they gonna be want to argue and escalate or nothing. So that wasn't a platform for me. But I'm from the West Coast. I'm in the Eastern District, right? Not only on no blood tip, because Stats 280, who is the same host that every time we do a show or issue, it's me and him. I came up with the narrative to talk about this. It wasn't to talk about G. Perico negatively. He spoke. He's a public figure. He spoke on YouTube, and we gonna get feedback and let people see how ugly this game really is. You understand what I'm saying? That motherfuckers, we ain't gonna sugarcoat it so these kids think it's acceptable to tell a motherfucker, oh, if I get caught, it's cool to game bang. If I get caught, I'm just gonna tell them I'm from this gang, which they get along with. Or I'm gonna tell them I don't gang bang. You know, like that's pushing a false narrative, right? And thank you for standing up. And I heard what happened last night. I listened to the whole thing. And you try to take credit for 90% of what was said, but it was our narrative. You want to know what me and Stacks 280, the nexus of everything we do, it has to be in positivity. Because Anita not gonna go for it, Pink Sugar, and CK ain't gonna go for it. You know what I'm saying? So everything we wanted to differentiate from all of these other groups who push bullshit. Okay, this dude saying that. Who feels that he was the E? Who feels he was this? Well, I believe that it was both. You understand what I'm saying? I'm glad that brother wasn't really cut for this. I'm glad at that time. I'm glad that he didn't bang his head, because I would have never been able to enjoy his music. He would have never been able to take care of the children and families that he's helping to touch today, right? But we're not gonna sugarcoat it like it ain't motherfuckers that really did had that pistol in their face, and the motherfuckers still rap their shit. The Crips that I done caught when I was gangbang, who really stood up, who was Long Beach Crips that really rap their shit knowing that they could have died. And if you ain't that, and you really ain't cut from that, and you know that, then please don't play with it, because this ain't for you. You know what I'm saying? He said he wasn't really cut. He showed and demonstrated where his heart was really at. Thank God. You understand what I'm saying? Because we wouldn't even been able to talk about it, but we wanted to utilize it so that these kids don't just see the glamorification of the gang shit, the low riders, and oh, fuck them niggas and all of that. You don't hear, my name is Lamonte on here. You don't hear me say Duke Sims from a rapper or Eminem from the Brims. You don't hear none of that. You hear Lamonte. You understand what I'm saying? Because that's who I'm introducing, and that's who I'm trying to become and remain to my last days. I'm not who I am when I was 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. If I was, then I wouldn't expect y'all to respect me. What 43-year-old man is supposed to be doing what the fuck he did at 14, 15, 16, and 17, right? So I'm not saying that, but at the same time, you know, you also can't just come up in Eastern District and change the narrative. Everything, and I'm quite sure you've been seeing that. Everything we speak on is 9 times out of 10 gonna be based on some positive shit. Help building in our community. You had you had the brother Tony Brown come up in here and talk about Black Wall Street. These are the things that we working on. I'm not working on going to go put in no work on no motherfucking gangbang. And I wouldn't advise none of these young niggas to go do that either. With cameras every motherfucking where. And motherfuckers who gonna snitch as soon as they get an opportunity to. A general always puts his troops in the best position to win, man. Don't feed that bullshit narrative to these kids. Like, that's just what they supposed to be doing today. And it's just cool to do that. When I grew up, man, my big homies had the reputation and left the reputation of where my non-affiliate relatives and my Crip affiliate relative used to say, well, you gotta be crazy to be a blood. That's how I'll number we were. Well, you know what? I got a documentary coming out called March Madness, because you do have to be crazy to be a blood, at least at that time. You understand what I'm saying? So that's where we going and direct. That if we come in and we're starting with positive, there should be nobody. Some people could differ on the ways of getting there, right? But it should be nobody that should come up in here with that type of atomic vibration, that negative atomic vibration, especially when all you gonna get in these sedition love. You know, on another note, CK, I love CK. That's my big bro. I know he done ran his head into the wall a lot of times, and he tired of running his head into the wall, especially with another black man. Nigga, let's get the motherfucking bag. That's why I click with him. I don't give a fuck if he from New York. Nigga, that's a black man. On top of that, he a down move. You understand what I'm saying? So that's room for us to continue to build. I don't see no separation. We black. That's what the fuck's wrong with it. So how do we go from a narrative that we want to try to stop these kids from making the wrong decision when they really ain't about that life, right? And then we wonder why they snitching on everybody and all of it. Because you letting these young niggas in that ain't never been through nothing, or y'all ain't even vetting these niggas. This shit is fashion, right? We went from trying to bring out that narrative to now the narrative is an East Coast, West Coast beat. Nigga, I'm from the West Coast. California love, right? This nigga from New Jersey, a Crip at that, and he's up on the West Coast structure. Grape Streetwise Baby Low Crip. 2 niggas from the opposite sides of the motherfucking planet with a positive intent who want to see better in their community. Because we weren't always the best within our community. We help perpetuate that vibe. Both of them. So who better for us to show these kids the ugly side of the shit too, right? But from this, we gonna get all of this other shit. And then I was cool with all that. All this shit is some app shit, right? I get all of that, right? But I'm trying to say, why, we're whack at? Somebody ping whack, right? You want to talk, he got an issue that is so severe that you want to call the motherfucking hood, try to see who I am. Nigga, I am who I am. Nigga, I changed my life 180 degrees because I am what I am. Nigga, them niggas is good. You reporting to me, nigga. The niggas you call is my niggas. You calling us to tell about me, nigga. Nigga, I'm not on here. I'm do Sims. I did this. I did that. Nah. But we men. And we could disagree on a lot of different shit, right? But when you take it, I take it personal that you would even question, nigga, who the fuck I was to call the hood about some shit on this app. Get the fuck out of here, man. We came on some positive shit. I didn't say shit about your business when you was harboring this motherfucking rap. Niggas Big Slick from Six Deuce Brown got stabbed up for the exact same thing in the penitentiary, nigga. Right? I didn't say nothing else when you endorsing the bullshit when y'all ain't got no paperwork to substantiate Jim Jones was, that's your business. That's hip hop. That's all that. This ain't hip hop. This is our community. We people from the community representing the interests of our community, not with the police, not with none of that other shit. Because we can't expect nobody to do shit for us that we ain't doing for ourselves. I yield on that. You got something to say, Steph?
Yeah, man. And that part, like, the fact of the matter is, y'all know I'm a keyway. We got y'all moves on here. And we showing people that the unity is always going to override any issues that we go through. And it seems that people are so used to the separation and trying to create, their own little power. And they struggling with their egos and dealing with their insecurities. See, Mac, I heard you say that you was going to, do your due diligence and try to pull up something. But the funny thing is, bro, like a lot of that's not going to reflect on me because it's not me. All you doing is just showing me how much you really are trying to push that negative narrative. None of us was in here perpetuating that. He was giving people a raw insight and view of every decision you can make while in that particular situation, and using an example of what G. Perico said in his own interview. You know what I'm saying? But individuals get caught up in their own feelings and emotions and trying to take over rooms. And we're not going to allow that, bro. Everybody allow you to just run your mouth, throw dirt on people, putting paint where it ain't. A lot of that, yeah, okay, that's cool. But at the end of the day, like the homie said, you didn't produce no paperwork on Jim Jones, but yet you pushed that narrative of saying he was a rat. But where's the paperwork? Where's the black and white? Where is the evidence? So it's like, do you really, are you really for us or are you really against us? So that's all I got to say. For anybody that got something to say, definitely let us know what's on your mind. But right now, you are in. I'm a reset. Matter of fact, Pink, you want to reset?
Pink might not be able to talk, so go ahead and
do it. Okay, so I'm going to just go ahead and reset the room. You are now in the Eastern District. The title says Eastern District Unity Overrides Any Destructive Narrative. You in here with me, Stats the Lady, Lamonte, D, Chanel, Pink Sugar, War. We invite
I got something to say, right? Invite CEO Reek too, because I don't do the backbiting and that's where divisions come up. You got something to say to a man, you say it to the man face. You don't call nobody else. GP. Then on top of that, a lot of it was good. GP. Y'all got East Coast on lock group, right? The other day I went in there and niggas was talking about fuck the West Coast. I'm like, damn, Keys, that's what y'all on. They brought me on stage. Like, no, wait. And I'm out of here, right?
I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. I kind of fell back off some niggas too. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just been on.
Okay, but listen, bro. But listen, this is what I do know, right? When these narratives get pushed, sometimes that shit trickle down to the community, bro. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I am who I am. They called the 6 Deuce Brims on me. Wack called the 6 Deuce Brims today. But they like, well, you first of all, you talking about Lamont. He said, who is Lamont Tate Sin? He still don't even know who I am. You feel me? But they like, Lamonte, well, first of all, he ain't from 6 Deuce. He from Fruit Tech, right? But that's the homie. What's up? You know what I'm saying? Oh, I'll call y'all back. He ain't called back. You understand what I'm saying? But first and foremost, he back channeled me here before. And I'll expose what he back channeled me if he keep acting fucking funny. You understand what I'm saying? Because it was some funny shit he did with that. But nigga, you could have back channeled me off the top. And I could have told you, listen, you came in guns ahoy thinking that we was East Coast on lock. But we Eastern District. And I'm from Los Angeles. This nigga's up under Grape Street protocol from Los Angeles. Like, so you keep saying it's a New York versus West Coast thing, but that's not even it. You saying that this could only be in this group, Sleepless in LA or what you call it. I don't have no relations with them. I haven't vibed with some of them. I know Kinga, from the street. You know, when she was fucking with the homie. You know, now, she was always banging her hood, but I'm talking about one of the homies was her boyfriend, but that's they thing, right? But as far as the narrative, like, oh, I'm you call it sick? No, what's up? You know what I'm saying? You trying to take it to the street? You think a nigga on here is a fraud because we don't agree with your weird ass position? So get the fuck out of here.
So he did a BCI on you?
Listen, and that's cool. But if I got an issue with you, I'm gonna hit you. Back channel. Hey bro, what was that about? You know what I'm saying? You do know that this is how these niggas seeing it, and he would have seen it. How the fuck did we go from a positive, trying to get these kids to not gangbang, to this narrative, to where you doing background check? Nigga, I am who I am. I'm just not what I used to be, my nigga. I've evolved. I'm a grown ass man. That don't mean I'm not who I am. Niggas see me tomorrow. I don't give a fuck what happened. 20 years ago, I shot him. Nigga, he might down me tomorrow. But I'm prepared for that. I exceeded my life expectancy. You understand what I'm saying? I got that coming. Okay, if that's how you feel, right? But I'm still finna be in these streets. I'm still walking sometimes without my burner, nigga. On a 5K peace walk. LA needs Congress, right? Go on YouTube, right? Overturn qualified immunity, right? This is who I am now. I'm not the same person I was. But I left with squeaky clean a resume, my nigga. Trust me. The fade. You can talk about juvenile hall to YA to federal penitentiary to the state penitentiary. Impeccable. I ain't in no niggas paperwork. And I ain't never did nothing against no homies who didn't have it come. Violations and accept. I was the enforcer. I was gonna do that if they had that come. Because that's what I signed up for. So, like, to have to do a background check, you should have been did that before you began disrespecting a motherfucker on this app. We men. Yo, just because motherfucker disagree with James' opinion today, I disagree with you, or how you got there, right? Or how you got there, but I'm not gonna overtalk that man when he talk. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna say, oh, you faking. Especially when I don't know who the fuck I'm talking to. I met that man over this app. Talking to him over this app. And I think that's a problem that we got within our community too. We too quick to attack another black man or another black woman. What's up, Crisis?
Hey, so I'm one of the people that you done butted heads with and was still able to come to a common middle ground with. You know what I mean? Where we were able to agree to disagree on certain shit, but then we were also able to agree on certain shit that made sense. You know what I mean? Because you would explain certain shit to me from your perspective. If it makes sense, I tell you, you know what, brother? What you're saying makes sense. When I explain certain shit to you, I would explain to you as to why it didn't make sense to me, and we can agree to disagree or agree. The only thing I just want to say in this situation is that the biggest problem that we seem to have is that we're not able to disagree in a civil manner.
Right.
The other day you said to me, when I came in the room, it was like, yo, now I know his name, so I'm going to quote it correctly. King Yo, Detroit, had said something that at first I didn't agree with. But then when I listened to what was happening, I realized what he was saying. And then you were like, yo, I salute you for even being willing to come in and admit that you were wrong about your perspective.
Yeah, that's indicative of a man who comes as a student of life. I don't know everything.
Hold on. I'm gonna say this though. Now, when I made that comment, it was because of the fact that I didn't know, and I'm not gonna say his name. It's not necessary to say his name. I didn't know all of the bullshit associated with Homeboy's name. That because I only know my interaction, and I know that my MO has always been I can't judge a person based off of your interaction with them. I can only judge them based off of my interaction with them. However, what King Yo showed me was that there's a lot of people on here who have whole different motives for why they're on here. So you might see some old weirdo shit. You might see some old shit that just doesn't make sense about them because they're trying to fit a certain narrative at the time. And that's okay though. You know what I'm saying? Because if their goal is entertainment, that's their goal. Me personally, my goal with this app was never entertainment. My goal with this app was to find like-minded individuals because I understand where this world is going. And I wanted to find the people who thought like me because I know that when that shit's gonna matter the most, I wanted to be able to have a network of people who thought like me.
Smart.
That's what my goal was. Now, I didn't take into account the fact that a lot of people are on here for the entertainment. But King Yo, he put me on to that, which is why I conceded to him and told him, you know what, you're right. I was wrong. It's okay. I don't have no problem with being wrong because I'm secure in myself. I understand what the end game is.
Right. Hey, Mad Max, were you in the room? Well, you was in the room, but did you mind speaking up on what you recall and, pretty much what was going on, if you don't mind?
Oh, what you talking about?
You talking about
the other day, when we did the thing on G Perico, our intentions was on some, basically let these kids know that niggas would have looked at that like it was some neat shit, right? And would have been on their head. So if you ain't prepared to die, basically, don't, and for what you joined it, then don't join. Because a lot of these kids joining these motherfucking sets and game, thinking it's fashionable, but they heart ain't even all the way in, right?
But Lamont,
hold on. Mad Max about to speak.
Let Mad Max speak. So what he was asking,
go ahead.
What do you remember, or what was the temperature of that conversation that day?
Well, shit, more so him saying that niggas can't speak on California business, but also saying that he'd allow the nigga to be on some bitch ass shit to go home to spin back around. Like I don't know that shit. I don't believe in that. So I can't. I don't know. That shit just sounded weird. I stopped listening to him when he started just going crazy, just talking about how he'll allow a nigga to be okay with saying he not banging, but tell y'all that he told a nigga that to go back to do something to some niggas. That's the weirdest shit ever. But he was more on them lines with that.
Can I say something real quick? Because I don't want this to go down that particular rabbit hole. I only chimed in because it's you, Lamonte. Like, I have a lot of respect for you. I just wanted to be able to chime in and agree with what you were saying. But I want to say this one thing. When you were discussing that particular topic, you said what you needed to say. He said what he needed to say. At the end of the day, what we have to look at is what makes the most sense for the community that we support.
Well, you know what I mean? I think that's the point of this room right now, right? Definitely, I just got the call from the homies, and it was about 5 of them, and they like, what's up? What you want to do? Like, I'm like, whatever he talking about. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Since he calling the hood, right? And but I was angry that a motherfucker would even call, because that's what type of niggas I fuck with. That's how loyal niggas is to me. They know my heart, and they know what type of time I'm on. So I shouldn't be having these type of problems with another black man, let alone another Damu.
But you say, but the thing is, let's just make this clear, because again, you know how you know, like I know, a lot of these rooms are recorded. You made that clear in the beginning when you kept trying to clarify the position. You made that clear in the beginning. It's just that people wasn't trying to hear what you were saying.
Right.
Yeah, we both made it clear in the beginning. You know what I'm saying?
No,
we made it clear.
Who's that? Who's that? Is that Stats?
Popeye, listen, that's why I gave so much props to Popeye. I went and reheard the whole thing. Then I heard the narrative of how he tried to paint it last night when he was talking to War Brim, right? It's two different things. If you listen to him, we was on some super blood and super crip shit, and we lying to these kids that we ain't never really caught no ops that really rep they shit. Like, or that homies ain't really died and niggas got tattoos of it because they rep they shit and really meant that. Oh, that's misleading in his at the beginning. It's the total opposite. You know, you couldn't imagine how many so-called enemies, because them ain't my enemies today, bro. But that's what I was taught was my enemy. You couldn't imagine how many I got.
But Lamonte, just so we can say this, but Lamonte, we have to say this because this is, we know that there's somebody on here who's recording this shit. There's 100 or more people who you didn't roll on because of the fact that you decided that people who look like you were not the ops.
Well, this was the whole shit, right? And if you don't remember the thing, we didn't say we all our enemies. We wanted motherfuckers to know that their life was in the hands of the motherfuckers that caught them slipping.
Right.
Nigga told me straight up, I'm burning up and everything. He from 74 Hoover, but he had on all this blue and all of that. So I told him, I put down the Mac and told the nigga, you know what? And the two homies right there, you know what? We don't even beef with y'all, but you over here with all that blue, so now I need a fade. Because he represented this shit.
But he gets to go home. He still gets to go home.
Crisis. Listen, bro. That's because it's not necessary. I believe that the Lanes would have clapped the brother. I'm glad he alive today. But my whole point is, if you living by the code of the game and you gang bang, first and foremost, 9 times out of 10, you ain't finna put yourself in a position walking through several enemy neighborhoods without your burner. You was playing from the beginning, right? Because you know you going to school and you know how you gonna have to get back home, right? Second of all, nigga, you know if niggas catch you that you might get a violation or even ran up off the set if niggas find out you didn't bang the set, right? I'm not telling you what I heard, I'm telling you what I know, right? And gave 3 examples. He wasn't here for that, right? So don't have these kids thinking that, and then you claimed another gang when you got caught for, and I asked the big homie, I said, big homie, in the 80s when you was growing up before you got your case, what did they call in? He said, busted. Because from a gangbanger perspective, yeah, it was smart, but your smart ass is a bust. Because you out here faking like you about that life, but you got caught not 1, but 2 times. Yeah. Is he still the same man today? I don't know.
Monte, can you pull up my sister down there? I want her to speak on this. She's about that age, big homies. But look up Lisa down there. Can you pull up?
I got you right now.
So real quick, while they pulling up Lisa, Lamonte, so what you saying is that, because listen, the way you was explaining it, I love the way you was doing it when we were doing it. And my question to you was that from the way you were explaining it, that's real time. The person who's dealing with that situation, if he decides that his desire to make it home is more important than his desire to show that he showed out for whatever. What you're basically saying is that it doesn't matter what his reasoning was. that would still be considered Buster shit.
Let me spread on this. Lamonte, let me say this.
Go ahead.
And this is coming up during my time of coming up. You know what I'm saying? I'm older than most on the app. And so I explained to the homie this when I got the whole, when he gave me matter of fact, when he gave it to me, he basically put it in a hypothetical question. So I'm blinded to anything that being discussed about this situation. So I can only give him how I felt. And I told him, first and foremost, when I was coming up, I was considered one of the hardest homies from the hood. So I had to put that out there. This one I had to put in the universe. And I had to do it by any means necessary. So me personally, I was in many Crip neighborhoods, banging blood, going to school, junior high school with the Crips. I'm wearing red and black, flagged up in the whole banging and everything, walking back to my neighborhood, banging and everything. And this is the reason why East Coast don't like me to this day. You know what I'm saying? Because I was the one everybody wanted, but they were scared to approach. So I felt that I was considered a super blood. And so that's what I did. But at the same token, a Buster, he did that. You get him off on, okay, I'm not from there, or I'm from here, where he get away. He is a Buster, but that don't mean he's a fool. Understand that. He's a Buster because he not cut out for this. But he's not a bad guy. A Buster ain't necessarily a bad guy.
No.
A Buster is a Buster.
Real quick.
Wait, crisis, you can't.
I'm not trying to. I swear to God, I'm not trying to cut him off. Just hear me out.
But you are cutting him off, though.
Hey, Crisis, I shot. That's the third time, bro. You dragging it on, and at the same time, the big homie was speaking, and we don't do that in Eastern District.
Yo, go ahead, why Crisis going on like that? Why you trying to why you doing it like that?
No, he well intentioned. Trust me, that's my brother. I know he well intentioned. That's not even the question. But the whole point is not right now. Let Popeye finish. That's what we do in Eastern District. Let him land.
Salute.
What up, GL? Yeah, let him land. That's the whole shit. Go ahead, Papa.
Yeah, no, what I was saying is I don't want people to misunderstand what a Buster is. He's not a bad person. In today's time, a Buster is a regular Joe out there doing his 9 to 5, raising his family, taking his kids to the park, you know what I'm saying, and all this old type of stuff. He making sure he taking care of his house. He's not trying to get caught up in nothing. I always tell everybody I'm from the streets. And so from the streets, I'm going to use the lingo that we got connected to the streets. You know what I'm saying? But in layman's term, he's just a regular old cat raising his family. You know what I'm saying? But at that time, he was smart. You know what I'm saying? Because he not taking no chances on no violence happening to him whatsoever. You know what I'm saying? I just wasn't cut that way. But it was. I had homies to this day, right now, they considered G's, but they were scared until I showed up. They was going to these junior high schools and not pushing the hood like that until I showed up. You know what I'm saying? But now that don't take nothing away from them. They still G's. But I was very reckless, so this is what I did, and I got away with it because this was my lane. I get in my lane and I ride my lane and I ride it all the way through. You know what I'm saying? And I don't never cross nobody else's lane for them to become an enemy that I can't see. So my thing is this. I fuck with this room more than I fuck with any other room. And the reason why I do that, first and foremost, because of the mixture in 2 ways. One, the mixture is you have the East Coast and the West Coast and all in between linking up. Secondly, you have a keyway and a Damu that put this together and that's pushing it out. That's another connection right there. I'm feeling that. I fuck with y'all. That's why I come to this room. You know what I'm saying? We also got queens in this room, you know what I'm saying, that I fuck with, you know, and I respect them. So I come in because I want to listen. You know what I'm saying? I'm learning just like I'm teaching. You know what I'm saying? And even last night, when I kept telling him I'm taking 90% or whatever the case may be, first and foremost, I know Brim can handle his own. That's not a question. I know he can handle his own. But at the same token, I wanted everybody, not only those that was involved, but everybody to see that, wait a minute, but he also got a motherfucker from the West Coast that's just as reputable as he is from the East Coast that got his back, that's going to support it, that's going to push with it. You know what I'm saying? Because this is my brother. You know what I'm saying? Whether he my brother because of your blood, whether he my brother because he's my brother. He's my brother. So I'm going to come, you know what I'm saying? And if it's an issue, it's an issue. Include me in this issue. This is all I'm telling you. So when I tell a motherfucker I'm taking 90% of the conversation, I'm just letting the motherfucker know I'm here. You can't discuss it with him if you ain't gonna discuss it with me. And that's why I say, if a person got anything that they want to ask me that I've said, I repeat it no matter who's around. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't, first and foremost, everybody know I don't get up in here and disrespect nobody. I give everybody their praises. You know what I'm saying? Because once again, I stay in my own lane. You know, and all I do is I try to help those that want to be helped and guide those that want to be guided. But my thing is, when it's two men and they got a problem, they need to hash that out as two men. You know what I'm saying? And if they're going to bring their discussion to the table, that don't change them being two men. They still two men. They just got it at a forum, and they're not dealing with it on one-on-one. I deal with a bunch of men every week. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not talking about being on this app. I deal with a whole lot of my comrades every week, and we discuss a lot of things. So I know how it is when it get down to I disagree with you here or you disagree with me there. That's what the clash was all about, basically. There's other little elements to it, but basically the issue with Reek, Whack, you know what I'm saying, War, Stacks, whatever the case may be, is all based on not communicating, not listening. You know what I'm saying? Because whether it's motherfuckers trolling because they gonna make money in it, whatever their reasons is. Me, I'm here because I love to be here. You know what I'm saying? I could be in a million other places. You know what I'm saying? I could be sitting on this motherfucker watching movies. There's all kind of shit I can get caught up into. You know what I'm saying? But I'm here for a reason. You know what I'm saying? And even those that I gave my number to on the back channels, I communicate with them. They know I'm here because this is what I'm about. You know what I'm saying? So I want to build and create those connections. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna last even longer than what Clubhouse is gonna last. This is, you know, in another year or whatever case may be, it's gonna be something else. You know what I'm saying? That outshines this. Like this is outshining other things and whatnot. So it's gonna be something else to come up. You know what I'm saying? But the connections I make now is gonna go beyond that. So I'm not, you know what I'm saying? But I say that to say this. You know what I'm saying? Before I land my aircraft. But I say that to say this. I'm here because I fuck with y'all and I support y'all and I push with y'all. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's East Coast, West Coast, North, South, I push with y'all.
That part. And Pink Sugar, you want to reset?
Yep, I can do that. Welcome to Eastern District. If you are not already a member, please go up to the top and hit the green button and join us. And also follow me and anybody else you want to follow, but especially me. Thank you. Also here, when the moderators are speaking, please do not interrupt them, talk over them, cut them off, or else you'll be sent down to the audience. And here at Eastern District, we never, ever, ever speak over women, whether they're a moderator or not. Let them speak, finish whatever it is that they want to share, and then you can respond to them or add to the conversation. Also, if you want a PTR badge, please back channel me. And what I'm going to tell you is send me a picture through IG. So that's what you need to do. Just send me a picture through IG, and then I'll send you back your badge, within a day or so. It won't take that long. Also, I just want to remind everyone that when it comes to Eastern District, this was the original Eastern Room where all the mature individuals come in and have conversation. We also promote that if anyone has any kind of conflict with another person, that you come here so that we can moderate the situation and get through it. And we have been successful in doing that. We don't bring the bullshit over here. We bring the resolutions over here. And Yeah, and I want everyone to just be reminded that that's what this is over here. So, any kind of touchy situation, anything you want to share, this is a safe place, or at least it should be a safe place. If it becomes unsafe, then the person who's making it unsafe is going to be removed forever, because that's not what this is. But this is a place to have those conversations if we need to, even if it's in a smaller situation, a private room, whatever. If you have a problem with someone, please reach out to one of us, and and we'll try our best to resolve whatever it is. But I do appreciate Lamonte and Stats especially for stepping up, because I had to kind of push him to start opening the room. He has always had access to this room. This is his room, but he kind of tiptoed around starting the rooms and getting things going. So I'm very happy that he's doing this, and because the first 4 days that he started opening, him and Lamonte, we've been going viral, and I'm loving it. But it's stirring up a lot of different types of conversations that we need to have. Even when they're uncomfortable, we'll get through them as long as everyone stays, mature and intelligent about the situation. We'll be fine. So continue with the conversation, and I'm happy that everybody's here. And if you do have a PTR, would you please change up, put your PTR on just to show support, so that everyone who is not a member here can see how much the members here are supporting everyone else that is here. Thank you.
Do y'all mind if I get my 2 cents?
Much love.
You mind if I speak, if y'all don't mind?
Sure. That's the floor.
So I'm outside looking in. I'm not from the gang culture. I'm from Philly, so we just crazy in a whole different way. But I always, see the viral clips and watch the YouTube, and I always kind of felt some type of way, and then not trying to stir nothing, because it just seemed like I catch WAC 100 contradicting itself over and over again. And I seen the video on YouTube, and I say y'all can't speak on West Coast business, but he's always on the East Coast trying to stir shit up, and this shit just like irritates me that a lot of people don't pay attention to it. So when y'all just trying to talk about something that happened, because I follow the rapper, and I think I was watching that interview. I probably didn't see that clip, but I was watching the interview he just had with Vlad, and I understood totally what y'all was saying, because it's always easier to say you're a part of something when you got your whole homies around. You kind of find out who a person is when everybody ain't not around. So for him to even contradict himself and say that, because one minute he's saying this, then to me he just shows he has a lot of insecurities and immaturities he has, because he always trying to fight somebody, and it's always directed on the East Coast, and it's just corny to me, because at the end of the day, like y'all said, we all black, and if we can't work together, it's just crazy, and it really really grinds my gears that he get in these rooms and do that, and people be so fake starstruck that they allow that shit to happen. And I really appreciate y'all really checking them on that.
Hey, thank you, Marvin. But the whole point ain't whether or not. Obviously, he got his insecurity. He got his faults. He a human, just like everybody else, right? Obviously, he put his foot in his mouth. But it ain't even whether or not G put ego kept it G. The whole point for these kids from us was that's why you don't get involved in this shit. You understand what I'm saying? Instead of just showing the low riders and the beautiful women and the lifestyle that everybody glamorizes with this West Coast shit, we wanted to highlight, listen, everybody ain't gonna keep it real. You got selective politics, right? You got other motherfuckers who gonna push like, oh, well, you in violation. You know what I'm saying? You didn't rep the set. You got the hood looking bad. Like niggas that really dedicated their life and their death to that game. And I'm not just talking about the Bloods. I'm talking about the Crips, the essays. That's the gang culture. Before they make that, they need to know that they're gonna be put in situations like that and called upon that to stand on that. And if they not gonna stand in that on that, they don't even play with it like that's what they about. That's the message.
Hey yo, stop talking so long, my nigga.
Who is that though? Who is that?
Yeah, who the fuck is that?
Yeah, he got boom, so don't worry about it.
But my thing is this.
Hey, and the last thing to the brother, man, as far as East West, bro, it and just on some street shit. I know you say you're not in the game, but you off the East Coast. Just on some street shit, bro. Motherfuckers being connected from the East to the West. When we start talking about my connections with S.I. Murder, rest in peace, Garland Tyree, whether we talk about Dead Eyes and the Brent, we been in tune with home. So I got homies like War, right? That niggas been dealing with and got love for before. When you get out and you secure about yourself and you be like, damn, this nigga went through some of the same struggles I went through. He deal with what I deal with every day. That's how motherfuckers unite. And that's powerful. That separation shit, that comes with a different agenda. And we just not about that. You can run that narrative in any group you want to. But please just don't come to Eastern District with it. Because that's not what type of time we in.
Hey, yo, either we came together to get indicted or we came together to get united, man.
Fact.
It ain't even people don't see that he contradicts himself either. A lot of it is these dudes be so fake starstruck, like you said, so they be thinking, oh, well, Wack could possibly open this avenue or that avenue, so I ain't gonna say nothing. I ain't gonna call him on his bullshit. Well, a lot of us over here do call that bullshit. So a lot of people see it. Just most people are scared to open their mouth and say something.
Yo, but that's all for Gazy anyway. He ain't putting nobody on and putting no real bread in niggas' pockets.
But a lot of people think that way. You heard? So
and that's real subject.
But my thing is this. We not to get our own bread.
The niggas jumped in the window. The niggas, I ran over there to see what the niggas was talking about. So they got these snitches that they say they claim they got from the West Coast, but they still clowning on some New York shit. Like, I told you, like, listen, we ain't no fucking jokes over here, bro.
Thanks.
Like, ain't none of us over here jokes. My homies that I put it in with, niggas put it in. And most of that shit was against the police. And that's a fact. Because we took them fucking Land Kings out quickly. No disrespect to the Kings or anything. But we was banging against the police in the box, bro. So, just because niggas started in the street, and you talking about when you leave LA, you don't expect nothing. Nigga, we don't need your acknowledgement, nigga. We ain't begging you for the acknowledgement blood over here.
Stacks, that's the final point. All that other shit was bullshit we don't get into. Pissing contests, comparing, because niggas deal with insecurity. The bottom line is this. You know your niggas get in. You ain't got to prove that to him, but you're right. Who the fuck is you that we got to get validation through you, right? We black men, and then obviously your agenda ain't the same as ours anyway.
And then another issue was this, though. It's unfortunate, right? We wasn't really on that crip banging time, right? That's not what we did. Most of my homies, we wasn't really on that black on black shit.
That's not our origin. That's not our origin.
That's not our origin.
But
we banged against motherfucking Latin Kings, Nietas, and we banged against the police. That was it, bro.
Hey, yo, can I piggyback on you?
Go ahead.
Can I piggyback on you? My thing is this, right? What I told Wack, right? It wasn't, though. It just, this particular name was what somebody gravitated towards. For us, it was, nigga, it's real in here. The oppressive fucking environment was real, though. It wasn't a joke. I'm 21 talking about oppression. I don't know what the fuck that is. I know what I'm seeing. I'm seeing my people that look like me, going through some shit. So, and I knew I ain't give a fuck at that time. 12 and a half, 25 years in jail, 17 and a half. I didn't care. But I cared enough for us. Because I'm like, nah, nigga, they look like me. Like, what the fuck? If it wasn't my family prior to this, I ain't like, what? I don't know you. Police can beat you up, do all of that shit. I'm telling you, that's the mentality I had. That ain't the mentality that Damu instilled in me. Damu told me, nah, nigga, that ain't right. You can't sit back and let your own people suffer when you know you can be a motherfucking voice. You can be a sacrificial lamb, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Real talk. And I'm talking about 21. I tell you, I was unconscious. My father had passed 2 years prior, and I didn't know how to deal with that shit. So I turned to the streets. I ain't turned to my family. I turned to the streets. The streets let me down. Streets ain't want to hear about what I was going through. The streets only wanted to hear about how I was going to respond to what I was going through. And I did that shit wrong. And it took 17 years. It took me away from my family. Excuse me. It took me away from my family. So with the relationship that I got right now with my family, I'm convoluted because of what I went through. But all I say is this. Nah, man. Come on, man. Stop it. We only here. Either we gonna get united or we gonna get indicted. I promise y'all this shit. Let's not play games. We either gonna be here to get united or indicted. I promise you that. I'm here to get united.
Because mind you, you know, we already see it's a certain play with people coming on here and they trying to, you know, promote certain activity. People, you know, doing their little paperwork parties, trying to see what's going on with other people's background. And, you know what I'm saying, we just trying to alleviate.
Oh, that's a fact.
The problem is, to me though, this is what really irritates me as a black man. The fact that he gave that snitch a pass. If that was a young black brother, they would be calling him all type of snitches. They just did the young boy Corvette. Young boy was 14 years old from Philly, blew up. They found out that his best friend got killed at 13 or 14, and he talked to the police because his mom told him to. Every major bull from Philly stopped fucking with him. I got cousins I don't fucking talk to that talked. So for the fact they gave, and it ain't even on the race shit, but the fact because he's Mexican, he get a fucking pass when that nigga was instigating shit every other fucking day, and he's fucking arrogant, and he don't know what he's doing. Like, that's crazy to me.
I don't think he can.
But a 12-year-old black guy, he know everything he's doing. Y'all.
This man, what? Give him a pass.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, that shit crazy to me.
Yo, to be honest with you, homeboy was almost finished. Wack gave that nigga a jolt of life, bro.
Who y'all talking about?
Surely did.
Who y'all talking about?
I don't even want to say that nigga name. That nigga Master Splinter. He gave that nigga a jolt of life, yo.
Man, if he was black, everybody be calling him a rat.
How you give him a jolt of life?
Because he gave him that interview.
But look, my thing is...
So that gave him a jolt of life? So Wacky, what, like... Maybe I'll just be confused on the narrative y'all be trying to spin. That's crazy.
Bro, he said if he with 6ix9ine and somebody attacked 6ix9ine, he protected 6ix9ine. He defended his business partner. How does that sound? If somebody attacks 6ix9ine while I'm with him, I'm defending him. That's my business partner. What?
Okay. That's not giving him a jolt of life, though, G. That's not a jolt of life. You made it sound like, bro, he just reincarnated 6ix9ine. Nah, fool, he just saying,
bro, I'm gonna keep it up. Can I say,
let him.
So you think the nigga? I've been watching the nigga on.
Let him land. Let's hear him out. We can't be like this though, man. Like, just hear him out. I ain't gotta agree with a nigga say.
My bad.
Just let him land. Just let him share.
Can I go after he finished?
Of course.
I want to hear what he got to say. Go ahead, Max.
Nah, I'm trying to figure out the jolt of life. You feel me? Like, I swear, fool, like, but I feel like my politic is 100. Because I call a spade. I play by the real rules. Like, younger than y'all niggas, but I feel like certain shit, fool, like, the way my bank account is a whole different, like, you feel me? I understand how it's, I don't think what bro do is straight. Like, don't never mistake what I'm saying. I think bro justifies him and Rick supposed to be from Lanes. Blood from my section. I don't feel like that's bull. Like you justifying the nigga being with a snitch because it's monetary gain. So you sell your soul to be okay with being with a nigga for some money. That's not bull. Like at no point in time is that good with me. But I also feel like niggas be making it so much more like y'all focusing so much on him trying to make it like you bro come in and talk crazy and then y'all lose sight of the whole shit. Like War Brim yesterday. Like bro had a good point, but he lost it and allowed him to just take over the conversation. You feel me? With bullshit facts. But him doing that or fucking with the nigga 6ix9ine don't give him a jolt to life. I just feel like bro now feel like 6ix9ine been coming outside, 6ix9ine been doing that paying security. Now I just feel it's more publicized because niggas be wanting to go attack Wack. If niggas just stop entertaining the bullshit Blood be talking about, nigga, like most of the time, like, Monte, you know, fool, like, niggas from other homies get to popping and just rambling, niggas are just ignoring, like, bro, what the fuck this weird ass nigga talking about? And not entertaining. He might be saying the wildest shit, but niggas just don't fall victim to allow him to get him out of character, or niggas is on him, you feel me? Right. Niggas will go back and forth with him. Like, when War Brim went wrong yesterday on God in Heaven, bro allowed that nigga to have one fuck up. He got to when the nigga asked him his enemy, some more. Bro said H, I said H, straight. And then that's when he like, nah, back in the day, oh, fucked up. He fucked the conversation. He focused on that. Oh, you're not from out here because you don't know this. Gave
the whole narrative.
Gave a nigga out, fool. And that's why I say, like, and I'm gonna be honest, G, and I be telling the homies the niggas that I be hollering at on the regular, like Tough, 030, and I'm like, I be just feeling like sometimes like New York niggas like y'all banging or out of state niggas like y'all banging is cool, but y'all be wanting like y'all do be feeling or worried about what we be feeling about y'all. So then y'all do extra shit or y'all put yourself in positions to have us have something to say to y'all. Because y'all be feeling like, nigga, we just as gangster as y'all. We just as tell like y'all ain't got to tell us that. We got out there.
That's a fact.
You feel me?
Fact. I
and
don't do that.
If I can reply,
no, let them finish. Nah, wait.
Let them finish. Yeah, let them finish.
Let me say something real quick. Please do not bring nobody up here unless you see them following the greenhouse or following some of y'all moderators. There's a lot of these trolls that's coming up here, but
yeah, let Max land because then let Anita reset the room.
I don't even remember what I was going to say, but I just feel like niggas like, I don't know,
you
bro,
basically said he changed the narrative. Good
hell yeah,
out,
bro. Oh God, like on the set, like I swear, even when it comes to when he starts talking about the G Perico situation, like it's multiple things. Like, all right, so you telling me like you willing to not do nothing to a nigga, or you can start banging when you choose to, and when you don't want to be banging, that's bullshit, fool. So if every time a situation happens, so basically a nigga get pulled up by the police, they ask you like, you got to, oh nah, fuck that, I ain't from nowhere. Like, what makes it different on the jail and on the streets? Like niggas be really making making rules to shit that don't exist. You feel me? Like, I don't give a fuck where I'm from, where I'm at, who I'm with, why I'm there. Nigga, if I ask me where I'm from, I'll tell you, man. Ain't no in between. I signed up for this. I knew what I was getting myself into, and I did it. Now, if you're doing it for the wrong reasons, then go ahead. I guess you can be a bitch ass nigga and take that how you want to. Like, but a lot of the time, nigga, like the set is what defines you. You live there your whole life, so you basically saying, fuck where you from, fuck where your parents grew you up at. Like, that shit weird to me, fool. Like, and for a nigga to justify that, shit crazy. And I wanted to tell you too, Stacks, before I forget, because it'd be a gang of shit I don't be saying that. Like, hey, next, like, one thing you hit me with the Pacoima shit, right? Like, that shit still LA County. Like, you feel me? And that's what he was trying to get out of that with you too. Like, you start talking about the geographical location, and bro, like, nigga, that's still LA County. Like, we got the same beef. Like, you should, like, it's different shit you can hit this nigga with, and he can't rebuttal. You feel me? Like, I don't know. That shit just be, y'all get bro out, fool.
Listen, I know exactly what you're saying, but that's the narrative that listen, bro. The main thing is that Eastern District pushes for unity, and that overrides any destructive narrative. I understand exactly what you're saying on how you try to switch the narrative, but Pacoima is LA County, and I know some Pacoima Paru by them being Pacoima Paru and blood. In the blood module, when that shit happened, a lot of them niggas had it hard because niggas like, what is you, this and that. So I know some straight soldiers from Pacoima. So I don't even want to mislead nobody. Like the Pacoimas ain't with the business too. Is it different? Of course, they got a city in Pacoima in the valley, right? They got a couple different sets. Then when you get to talking about South Central LA, you got the Brim card, and then you got the 20s and the LA lanes on the west side. That's it on the west side. You understand what I'm saying? So and when I say brim card, I include the Black Beast Stones in it. 20 brims in the LA lanes. That's it. So whatever he was going through, obviously him, not the Pacoima Rules, him, and how he was getting down wasn't the same way that the homies was pressing in there. And of course I know homies that marked out. Of course I don't know both sides that marked out. And I'm glad that they're alive today. But like the big homie said that as best as he could, bro. And the fact of the matter of that is, he was true to who he was that day. That's who he really is. And it didn't just happen one time; it happened 2 times.
Bottom line.
So thank God he alive, right? Because I wouldn't be down and do that. No, but don't be playing with your life and just claiming shit because you think your shit is cool, and then just I'm gonna be able when it's storming, I'm gonna be able to run in the house and say I'm from '60s because these is Harlems, right? Or I'm a blood because these is Bloods. Like nigga, that's a whole nother situation. You know what I'm saying? Like you watch Colors. What's the name? The blood nigga was doing that on Colors. What happened to him?
Nigga High
Y'all don't remember?
Part of,
right?
Yeah, that nigga High Top was playing. Yeah, he got
part of the reason the line is being blurred because you got a lot of civilians having an opinion, and there ain't no wrong with that. But when you're talking about knowing how to mute yourself, because people that are really into this shit and got scars and wounds and stories that they can tell you as opposed to what you heard, sometimes it's just mute yourself. Let these brothers and sisters share, God, teach, all that. And this is what's going on these platforms. Like if you want to raise your hand if you are affiliated. Raise your hand if you're affiliated. Clap your hands if you're affiliated. That ain't gonna be 90% of this audience, 70% of this audience. I promise you it ain't. Because it ain't like that out here. Listen, man, Lamonte, man, listen, man, your vibe, your energy is great, homie. Real talk. So it ain't even no question when you talking about Damu. One blood, nigga. It's one blood. Why the fuck niggas don't get that?
That's a tough
it ain't
thing to
many
say, though,
bloods. It ain't many bloods. It's many sets. But it's only one blood, nigga. Fuck is you talking about? And any nigga from whatever you talking about, Cali, New York, if you Damu, you know that it's only one blood, nigga. It ain't no 2 and 3 different type of bloods.
Hey, yo, can I say something real quick?
And to be honest, we ain't even really gone with that narrative. We just basically going on some black thing. We taking the flags off and showing our skin.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a fact.
That's because all that is another form of separatism. So now let's bring all this together, regardless of your color rag. You repping your black skin, because at the end of the day, it's us against us.
That's the difference.
You know what I mean? So let's change that and make us with us. So, you know what I'm saying?
All right, let me just say this. I'm gonna land. Let me land with this. Let me just land with this because I heard you just now, right? So one of the main differences with Cali and New York, right, is that we ain't start this on some black on black shit. We didn't become this on some black on black shit. This is the main fucking difference. Real talk. So when you talk about the majority of the brothers on the blue side are black and only black. Same with the red side. We didn't do that. We didn't do that. So our whole mentality is different. It is in that sense.
I don't understand.
Then when you talk, it's different because they had black people that they came together with to go against. We didn't do that.
Let me explain this.
Hold on,
and
let
this
me
is
add
going to
on
explain.
Let me add on.
But watch this here. No, listen to this. Listen to this. Listen to this though. This is the thing, and I'm gonna tell you what WAC problem is, and I'm gonna tell you what West Coast problem is. The difference between the West Coast and the East Coast, whether it's blood, whether it's Kiwi, whether it's Mexican, whatever the case may be. First and foremost, when we talking about this gang shit, see, on the West Coast in Wax generation, because see, Wax generation was raised by homies that learn from what they call super bloods. See, there's a such thing as super bloods. They don't make super bloods no more. That's just like back in the old days when they had them little fairy tales talking about the giants. They don't make giants no more. They don't make super bloods no more either. Because in order to be a super blood, you would have to have been a certain age. Because when I was growing up in the late 70s, early 80s, gang banging. See, you gotta remember this. There was knives, there was sticks, and you might have one individual with a 22 pistol that holds 6 bullets, but he only got 3. You know what I'm saying? And so this is what we was against. So you can have super bloods. You can have bloods in neighborhoods, you know what I'm saying, declaring that blood almighty in a Crip neighborhood, and the Crips, he ain't got no fear of what the Crips gonna do to him. Because it's a whole different era. That was the super blood era. Because the super blood bang without thinking about anything. He don't care about none of that. His whole thing is to be a blood, to be a Crip, whatever the case may be. 1985, when I came to prison, I was still living in that super blood lifestyle because I had just came from YA for doing 2.5 years. I'm just a gangbanger, and I'm considered, at this standard, I'm considered a super blood because that's what I was doing. But make no mistake, now it's a little worse because now we have the same cats that I was going up against. Them same cats now, they got AKs. They got all the guns in the world. They got grenades, they got everything, rocket launchers, they got all that shit. So it's not playing in the same playing field no more. It ain't no more using your hands. Coming up, have to know how to use your hands to survive. Being outnumbered as a blood, 1-6. You know what I'm saying? Having to go through that, then you have to go through the Mexicans. Then you have to go through the ABs, the Aryan brothers, the skinheads. Then you got to go through the police. See, all these things I had to develop over the years. But I understand that now it's a different era. So Wack, because he was learning from the era that benefited from the super blood era, he look at everybody should be this way. And there's nothing wrong with that because his homies, may they rest in peace, that I knew that was my comrades, my homies, and they were super bloods, pushed the same way in the same idea that Wack has. Because this is the only thing that he know. That's why you don't get that type of attitude from Lamonte or many other homies from the West Coast. You know, same with Bolo. You get a different vibe from Bolo. Bolo from my area. You get a different vibe from him. But you can't fault, I can't fault Wack for feeling the way he feel because this is what he know. This is the generation he know. And it's not like that no more. You know, right. Some of us slip. Yeah. Some of us slip because we don't teach the generation we supposed to teach. You know what I'm saying? And then instead of us taking responsibility for not being that teacher, we push it off on somebody else. You know what I'm saying? And then when that other person fuck up, now we want to try to pinpoint everybody. Oh, y'all this, oh, y'all that. All based on the fact that we dealing with a Tekashi 6ix9ine that's a known snitch. Okay, we understand that. I don't fuck with him. And I don't fuck with motherfuckers that fuck with him. But that don't mean, you know what I'm saying, I'm going to look at a person in a bad way. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm straight from the street. I'm not a businessman. I'm not going to these boardrooms. I'm not trying to get music going and movies and none of this type of shit going. I'm a street motherfucker, and that's how I'm going to survive. So that's the only thing I know. So I'm going to keep it 100, and I'm going to live the street code. I don't fuck with snitches. And I don't fuck with motherfuckers that fuck with snitches. Because even if that's their business, I'm not going to disrespect them. We not going to get caught up. I just not going to fuck with you. Because I'm in prison right now for 36 years for 2 motherfuckers that snitched on me. That was from my neighborhood. From the West Coast, you know what I'm saying, Bloodstone Villain. They snitched on me. And I'm here in the penitentiary. And there's other motherfuckers that's on the streets that know these cats snitched on me, and they still fuck with these cats. But on the under, they try to get at me like, oh, big homie this and big homie that. I throw them to the message box. You know, but I say that to say this, that understand that people is raised by different caliber of people don't make you bad. You had super bloods back then. Now it ain't no super blood. Right now it's smart bloods. You know what I'm saying? Motherfucker, like shit. Right now, another motherfucker catch me and he draw down on me and they ask me where I'm from. A young motherfucker asked me where I'm from. I'm looking at him like, oh, don't you see I'm an OG? I don't fuck around with doing nothing. Cause I ain't no damn fool no more. I ain't that super blood no more. I know goddamn well if I said something, this young motherfucker finna put a bullet in my ass and I ain't been on the streets for no time. So come on now. Smart man. You know what I'm saying? But I try not to put myself in these type of situations. And that's why I don't like to comment on a lot of that shit because it's a bunch of bullshit. But I'm gonna go in and pass it and let you do what you.
If I can say something, can I address this? Go ahead.
Hey, wait a minute. Hey, Pete, do you want to reset the room? Because we haven't reset the room in a while.
No problem. Welcome to Eastern District. If you haven't already become a member, please go up to the top, hit the green house, and join. And also follow a couple of moderators here, especially me, because if you don't, I'm going to feel some kind of way. If you are in the audience and you're trying to get up and you're not being pulled up, it's probably because you are not a member and you're not following me, so I ignore you. But you can follow a couple other people and they may pull you up. This conversation is really good. I'm enjoying it. I was supposed to go out and I'm actually staying in and listening to this whole thing. But the moderator is speaking. Please do not speak over them or cut them off. Let them finish. And then you can add to the conversation. And here at Easter, we do not ever speak over females. Please let them finish saying whatever it is that they are saying, and then you can add or respond to them. Also, if you want a PTR, please just send me a picture through IG, and I'll send you a picture back. What else? What am I missing? I think that's it. Like I said, I'm enjoying this conversation. I'm glad that everybody is here and being open and calm and just discussing everything. But one thing for sure, when we opened Eastern District, we had a strict policy that we do not talk about 6ix9ine over here. So while I understand some information, some things need to be said, but let's keep it short because this is not a room for 6ix9ine conversation. Y'all can continue.
Yeah, if I can say something real quick, right? I'm gonna keep it a buck, right? So I spoke to Wack and I was talking about Blue Da Vinci. And the thing that bothered me, he said, there's no paperwork, there's no black and white on Blue Da Vinci, but you want to talk about Jim Jones. This is where I have an issue at. There's no black and white. There's no P-Dub on Jimmy, bro. So you can't talk about Jimmy and you talking all crazy, bro. You can't do that, my nigga.
How you know the definition of a hypocrite? Let me say this though, right? Hypocrite. Because I really want to. When you're talking about our struggle on the East Coast, right? Bunch of young brothers, and you talking about dudes that's been in prison for 25, 21, 18, 30, been in a box. You got some niggas over here that's been in the box, did 20 years in the box. In the fucking box. 16, 8, I did 5 in the box. So when you talking about being over here and going against ops, being outnumbered, then you got a lot of, he said super, you got a lot of them over here. Promise you that. Where we was able to look at it right now. This is not even glorifying or disagreeing. Just look at it right now. This shit started in prison. It done seeped into the whole world. The whole world. We've been listen. When you talking about being a bunch of ops, it's 10 of them, 11 of them, 3 of them, 2 of them, 20 of them, and you the only nigga there. We know that life over here. I promise you that, man. So we ain't like, no, we just saying, however misguided we was initially, right? We upheld the code. We upheld the code. So when you talk about having on this side, just as well as on, the west side, you got some super bloods over here too, man. Like real talk.
Let me add on to that. Add on to that, GL. Our history is our history. Like, let me tell you about the West Coast. My set is a West Coast set, so I was always trying to look for, like, where my set came from, where that name came from. What's up with the homies in the West Coast? We was all reading that Monster Cody book, homie. So everybody in the box had that book, along with our other literature, George Jackson, Blood of My Eyes. We was basically following the pattern of Black Panthers, right? So our oppression was different from y'all's oppression over there. We love West Coast dudes, man. I mean, I used to be impressed with, not really impressed, but I used to be like intrigued. Like it was inquisitive. Like I was wondering, like most dudes on the East Coast wondered how y'all was banging over there. You know what I'm saying? Because it was different from over here. So our maturation from Bloods, actually, you might as well say, started with the guard bodies, right? So the guard bodies gave birth to the Latin Kings. Let me tell you that. So
look, we ain't have time. Look, we ain't have time to be thinking about what they was thinking about in the West Coast. I know I didn't. I was thinking about the motherfucking Enriquez that did something.
Hey. Let's not do that on this app. Especially as far as disrespect.
I'm just going to speak about. I was speaking about our history.
No. That's not the point. It's like one thing we not trying to do on here is keep and inflame Crip and Blood or Black and Brown or none of that bullshit that could do it. And he specifically was talking about getting into it with the Crips, and he used a derogatory term. We not gonna do that. You know what I'm saying?
I hear that.
No. When he said, he's referring to Latinos, not the.
No. Yeah, that's a fact.
No. Did you? I thought he said, pardon my word. I thought he said Enrique.
But look, check this out. But look.
I said that. I said Enrique.
Yeah. Now look. Go ahead.
Let me finish, man. What I was saying, the Latin King, like basically the guard bodies gave birth to the Latin Kings, right? And the Latin Kings were being oppressed. They were. So after that, the maturation, they had a little reign of power for a short period of time. And then the Latin King gave birth to the Bloods. And then most of the guard bodies turned blood. That's how it flipped around. But we, like GL said, I'm not from that era of like banging in the street against Crips or Blood. We wasn't doing that. We was mostly on a lot of history. We was studying in the box, man. We was studying, working out, getting our minds right. And like we was training, bro. Like we actually training in the box. And that's where it was with us. And we was always on some brotherly love, override, destruct.
Right. So listen, this is what I'm saying. We already got the history. Trust, bro.
I
on
got
every blog, every time. And I got it from SI Murder. So trust me, I understand that. What I'm saying is when he used that term on the West Coast, that's a disrespect for the Crips.
Yeah, I understand.
On the East Coast, y'all disrespecting the Ethos and the Latin Kings like that. We're not going to disrespect them, or we're not going to disrespect the Crips. And that's basically what using that term was doing. Not on this.
I heard you. So look, all right. So now a learning moment, right? A learning moment, right? Where you gotta humble yourself. Because we've been using that term for over 28 years, right? So, but I get what you just said. So I heard you. So this is the discrepancy, right? When you take something that somebody else started and you try to use it as your own.
Fact.
Listen, so now as the initiator of it, allegedly, those that follow, we fall victim to some shit. But it doesn't take away from the struggle we went through, right? This is my point. It don't take away from what we went through and was willing to. Because all of us willingly, nobody held the gun to our head. We willingly took upon a cause for black folk. But the name and this, that, and the third was all over the place. All right, so what we saying, right? All right. It's a long time coming. We do this to be disrespectful as a collective body. I don't know, Magmon. You gotta ask that nigga that. But I'm saying as a whole race of people, we didn't say, yo, we come in this shit, say fuck the Damos and Cali. No, we just said, all right, this shit's going on right now. This is the name. All right, let's change some shit. You talking about young black brothers that was very destructive in their communities and decided to change. Decided to change and become champions for their people. Real talk. I'm not even lying to you over here. Decided to stand up for their people, even though these are niggas we just was destroying our people. So to make that whole 360 and without a motherfucking problem, for me, nigga, ain't who telling me I did something wrong. I don't care what name, this, that, third, Crip, Blood. We could have took any fucking name. Nigga, I didn't care. It's not like, yeah, we taking these names, blood. We didn't care about that. All we was concerned about making sure that black folk, no matter the circumstances, were able to do their little time and go home, as opposed to suffering at the hands of people that didn't care about us.
Yeah, let me chime in when he gets finished.
You hey, go ahead. Who's that? Derek?
Yeah, that's me. I wanted to apologize to Monte because when Papa just said what he said, he really broke it down from an understanding that I didn't know, because he's talking about the 70s and 80s, and I wasn't in LA then. I came in 93 or like 93, 92. So he really broke it down, and then it actually confirmed when I called my that's why I was trying to get Lisa up here, but she must have dipped off somewhere. And I called my big homie schoolyard, and it's like he kind of said the same thing, where that mentality was totally different in those in those early decades. I'm like 49, so when I got there in 92, 93, that particular part I didn't witness. So I want to apologize to Monte, because Monte, I was kind of like taking it some kind of way when you said it, but then when I talked to Stats the other day, he was like, "Nah, we're trying to get these kids to not make that bad decision." And when you said what you said, I was like, "Now I understand where you was coming from. Now I understand what you was trying to do to get to make sure the kids don't even think about getting caught up in that type of situation." Because when I was out, when I was in LA, we had a homie that got killed coming out the liquor store. And then all of a sudden we had a homegirl. She had on black and red, and she went to that same liquor store, a little bit later on, and some Bloods pulled up and was like, "What's up? What's up, Blood? Where them scraps at? This, that, and the third." And she was like, "Nah, I don't know where they at. I ain't from nowhere, whatever." And she got on down, and when she got back home, you know what I'm saying, everybody pretty much just laughed about the shit, you know what I'm saying. But at the same time, when I talked to the homegirl, she was like, everybody in the hood is different. You got some people that's shooters, you got some people that's jackers, you got some people that's hustlers. Everybody's different, but there's, everybody has, what they do is they contribute to, to the hood. You know what I'm saying? But you know, at the end of the day, you know, she said that's happened to the best of us. Somebody got caught slipping, but you know, at the end of the day, you know, I understand now where you coming from. When I got to LA in '93, I went to Fox Hills Mall. You know what I'm saying? Homie Khalil is Ethiopian, and he lived in the jungles. You know what I'm saying? That's why I know about the Jays. You know what I'm saying? So I went over there with him, and we got to Fox Hill Mall. Man, it must have been about 6, 7, 8. You know, saying Crips, and they start saying the F, the you know how you know this the Bloods. You know, they start saying that shit at the Fox Hill. I didn't know what the fuck they were talking about. I'm looking at him like, what the fuck are they talking about? And all of a sudden, he was like, man, let's get up out of here. He had the red car and everything. So we got up and we got to the parking lot. These motherfuckers followed us to the parking lot. I'm like, yo, what the fuck is these niggas' problem? I was like, you got a strap on you? He was like, nah, I ain't got no strap. I said, man, dude, you mean to tell me you're dealing with this shit with no strap? Nigga, you know what I'm saying? I'll do something to these niggas now, man, get this. And all of a sudden, you know what I'm saying? So now I started getting familiarized myself with this culture. Then all of a sudden, went back to that same Fox Hills Mall. I tried to holler at a Mexican chick. She was on the second floor. I'm on the first floor. And then all of a sudden, the Mexican dude, the cholos, you know what I'm saying, come over the balcony like, fuck, you know how they dissing black people. So I yelled to him. I said, man, what's the black against Mexican thing, whatever. And then some brothers around me came together and was like, yo, what's up with these motherfuckers? I said, I don't know. They act like they want to get down. So I took a bottle and I threw that shit at them. And we trying to go to the escalator to go beat their ass. And all of a sudden, the police came and got me, and I got kicked out of Fox Hills Mall. And then all of a sudden, I get to the Valley, you know, down the street from Pacoima, you know, in Van Nuys, and the homie told me, he said, man, you know, I just got off the bus, man, a carload full of Mexicans was trying to kill anything. You know how, like, anytime a Mexican gets killed, whether it's robbed or whatever, they'll put the green light on anybody black. So all of a sudden, he had to dip out of there when he got off the bus, and because he said they had the straps, they were shooting at him, and he was, you know, hitting fences and all that type of shit to get away. So I said, man, you know, I had straps at the crib. I said, where the fuck they at? So we got in the car, combed the neighborhood trying to find these motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? But I started, and I noticed that because one thing about coming from the East Coast, because I lived in the Bay as a kid and moved to the East Coast, and then went to LA, was that I wasn't really trying to put myself in this bullshit. Because I said, damn, I'm trying to get some money, but yet the homies will stay in that little radius. They be like, I said, man, let's go to Hollywood, go kick it at the club. They be like, nah, bro, I don't go down, get caught. Right. Yeah. So I'm looking at them like, damn. So how we gonna get any? You know, how we gonna get any pictures? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what the fuck? They were like, nah, man, I'm gonna get up there. Oh yeah, that women, yes, yeah, you're right. So I'm like, you know what I'm saying? So you start. What happens is it'll start growing on you within everybody that you associate with, because you know I started making money with the homies, you know, especially my big homie, and that's when we was getting the stress, and I was sending all types of stress, you know what I'm saying, to the East Coast, you know, shit, we was making up the life. Allegedly. Yeah, allegedly. There you go. So I was, basically I was part of a program, you know what I'm saying. I was making 10 to 14, you know, K a week. Yeah, allegedly. You know what I'm saying? Damn, you can't even talk to our brother, see? You feel me? Hey, man, thank y'all for catching me, man. I don't want to talk myself into shit.
Let me interject before I have to leave.
Okay, go ahead.
I want to interject real quick, you know, because first, I don't like to be misunderstood, or I don't like to leave thinking I was misunderstood. I pride myself as trying to be a teacher, trying to help, trying to guide. And so when I was speaking about West Coast and the Super Blood, I don't want anyone to feel that I was belittling, demeaning, or anything like that, or making West Coast Bloods or West Coast whatever higher than East Coast. That's not what I wasn't trying to convey that. So I hope I wasn't misunderstood in that. What I said was when I was speaking about, now don't get me wrong, I know for a fact that there is as equal super bloods, super keyways, and super whatever out there in New York, New Jersey, all on the East Coast, just like the West Coast. And some of them on the East Coast harder than some of them on the West Coast. That's keeping it 100. That's just how it is. You know, and what I try to do is I try to link old to the new, because if you got majority of the blood and keyway neighborhoods on the East Coast originated from the West Coast, you can't not bridge that link, because it's the teaching. Because if you don't know where you came from, you ain't got nowhere to go. You don't know where you're gonna go. And so you have to understand that I want to connect whether it's Keyway or Damu neighborhoods from the East Coast to the West Coast. Because I got a lot of homies that's villains out there on the East Coast. And when I talk to them, I give them the history of villain, period. So they can go to sleep and dream and be in every single part of villain in LA. Be able to go down blocks and tell you what's on this street and what's on that street. So you will know, like the question that was posed to Ward. You're gonna know the neighborhoods that is the enemies to your neighborhood because it's like you live there. You know what I'm saying? Because subconsciously you do. That's my thing. My goal is link bloods from the west to the east so that not only physically but subconsciously. Because when you subconscious, it's 50% of your time. So if you subconsciously link to me, you know what I'm saying, my neighborhood and your neighborhood and my neighborhood, I'll be able to describe streets in New York where, okay, yeah, the 5 News villains hang out right here. This store name is such and such. You know what I'm saying? Or right here is such and such. I want to be able to do that. You know what I'm saying? Because I want to be able to sit back and enjoy a conversation. When I hear 2 homies from New York talking, I want to be able to sit here like I'm at a movie and being to the same places they've been because I'm familiar with these locations. I ain't got to be there to be familiar with these locations. I want to be familiar with these locations because of that connection. Without that connection, we ain't got nothing. You know what I'm saying? I tell people all the time, I don't live the way Wack and them live out there in LA because I've been in the penitentiary for 36 years. You know what I'm saying? So I've developed and became a vanguard. And so my only sole responsibility is to be that vanguard to bloods, to blacks, the whole connection. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know life out there on the streets until I get back on the streets. But when I left the streets, I was learning from teachers. I'm going to continue to be a teacher because I don't want to guide nobody into the same shit I went through. I can write a book on my life. You know what I'm saying? I only spent 2 months on the streets from 1981 until right now. I only spent 2 months on the streets within that time. So you can just imagine how fucked up I am in my whole everything. I'm learning. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to, you know what I'm saying, to adapt to what's going to be in front of me when I get out of here. Because like I say, hell, down there 40 years or so, or over 40 years, I've been behind these walls. You know what I'm saying? Paying my debt to society for the shit that I was doing because I was considered a super blood out there. Just like I know his homies on the East Coast that's locked up in the pen, in the feds or whatever the case may be, been down just as long as I've been down. And they've been pushing just like I've been pushing. Because those were super bloods too. Or super keyways or super whatever. You know what I'm saying? Once again, as I'm finna part, I always say this when I'm leaving y'all. I love y'all. You know what I'm saying? I'm always going to be representing the East just like I represent the West. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to land this plane and I'm going to holler at y'all when I holler at y'all.
And I'm gonna reset the room real quick. You know, it's your boy Stats 280, Lamonte B, Chanel, Pink Sugar War. We in here in the Eastern District. In order to get on the platform, you have to be a member of this house. You have to be a member of the Eastern District. So meaning, scroll up to the top, hit that green house, become a member. If you want to be dedicated, meaning getting the PTR. Meaning the benefit of having the PTR is when we open up these rooms, you'll be one of the first to get up on stage and do your thing. So with that being said, you know, the title is the Eastern District. Unity overrides any destructive narrative. Basically, we started this room to set aside all the bull and tell y'all what's real with us. And as y'all can hear and as y'all can see, we got the West Coast, we got the East Coast, and it ain't no separatism, no separation. It ain't no blood or creep thing. It's a unity thing. And we representing our black skin first and foremost over everything. So let's get it. Start the conversation.
That was a really good reset, Stat.
Look at you.
You know what I'm saying? See how you do?
Hello? War, what you say?
No, I said that Stats did a really good reset. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, we needed it, but just to build on what's his name's apology, the antenna you don't owe me no apology. Men is always gonna differ. I could respectfully agree to disagree or agree with you. That's part about being a man. You know what I'm saying? I don't deal with them type of insecurities, bro.
I feel you, bro. You know I got love for your Monte.
I love y'all too.
All right, so that's a very informative room, very productive. Anybody got any questions, anything like that?
Everybody don't yell at once.
Trying to tell me all these people on the stage, nobody got nothing to say.
You know what it is? They're a little bit they soaking up the game. Some of this gotta be, because think about it. We so used to separatism, separation. Oh, you from over here. Oh, you banging this. Oh, you represent that. They not used to hearing, us bringing it all in. You know what I'm saying? They not used to hearing that. So the more we talk like this, the more you hear people, speaking like us and speaking with us. You know what I'm saying? So, it's going to take time for it to settle in, but it will settle in. You know what I mean?
That's right. I mean, that's one of my only gripes, man. Separatism, you know what I'm saying? I ain't with it. You know what I mean? But I guess when people don't entertain certain things regarding that, and they think that's whack or it's bugged out or it's weird, and they'll start to conform to unity. You know what I'm saying? Especially when they start realizing we all we got. That's a fact.
Absolutely. Because look at the climate we in. You know what I mean? The economy ain't as booming as usual. People out here looking for jobs and shit. You look on the news, you see old ladies getting robbed nowadays. So we need unity. We need to be policing our own community. You know what I'm saying? Certain things shouldn't be going on. But apparently, because all of this, selective politicking, picking and choosing, we have these type of things going on. Everybody turning their head to what's going on outside. We need more unity in our community in order to clean up so we can make a prosperous tomorrow.
Let me give you some science, because what you're saying is so true, right? If it's an old extortion game, right? And I don't believe in extorting my people or especially my own homies. We stand against oppression of your own. You feel me? But it's an old thing that niggas used to use. Somebody got to be the bad guy to scare these motherfuckers to pay the good guy. You understand what I'm saying? So that's why it's always motherfuckers try to keep a disunity or a divide based on not just gang culture, because that's definitely was a major part of gang culture on the West Coast, but in life, the East and the West. You understand what I'm saying? So, a lot of people like to focus on the differences, man. Here at Eastern District, we gonna focus on what we got in common and build from there, man.
Yeah. Salute, y'all can hear me?
That's that black love. We got that black love in common. I promise you that, man.
Fact.
Yo, you can hear me?
Yo, what up, Harlem?
Yo, you can hear me?
Yeah, we hear you, bro.
Yeah, this black. What up, salute? All right, so I want to touch on what Stat said. Like, how do we get to that point where we could take back our communities and start policing our communities and start buying our own businesses and building our own shit up? Because we've been through the unity thing, right? So they say the Bloods came together for unity in New York jails. But then when they actually got that, they started oppressing each other.
Fact.
True story.
So how do we get to that point where it's like, yo, we gotta stop this bullshit, because at the end of the day, it's seems like the bag is distracting everybody, and it's like the bag is the problem. Everybody do this for the bag, do that for the bag. Oh, that was for the bag. So it seemed like that's the problem. So how do we maintain our own bag so we don't need handouts from nobody?
So
we ain't gotta look to nobody for nothing.
Hey, hold on real quick. I wonder if we could get CK to answer this, because quite sure him and Pink can tell you more about what we got going on with the new Black Wall Street and all of that. Pinks is can CK talk? Is he on right now? Pink Sugar.
Hey yo,
you know, Corey probably over there eating. Right. Yeah, you know how to we work well. You know, we working on a Black Wall Street. You know, as we speak, and I would say certain solutions to help build Black wealth, and is that we got to start buying Black. First off, we got to stop spending our money outside of our own. You know what I'm saying? It may take a little bit longer, you know, meaning you got to research it. But once we start, you know, patronizing each other, we'll start to see more businesses in our community. There's no reason we sitting out here yelling and screaming, banging on these blocks and saying, oh, this my hood, oh, this my block, but we don't own nothing. And none of them stores is our people. So we need to stop first having this falsified pride of our hood and our neighborhood when all we did was contribute to the destruction of the neighborhood. We're not contributing to actually building up the neighborhood. We should be buying up stores. We should be owning the property. We should be owning some of these land.
These niggas, if you own a store, niggas run up in there and blame.
We're not even gonna speak on that because that's just negativity. We're not even gonna look for that forecast.
No, I'm saying in my hood, all these other people, the Indians, these people, the Chinese, whatever, they got a store. If one of us open a store, then niggas get murdered up in that bitch.
Hey, I think
these people will do business with you, like Jews, China. They will do business with you because
I could open a store in my hood.
Let's get this one mic. Let's not get crazy.
One thing, right? First and foremost, you're right. Practicing Black economics. It's a foreign language that we speak into, because that's not what our people is. Our people aren't naturally racist or inherent. The government gives student loans and all kind of foreign exchange programs for businesses from other countries to come and get businesses and start businesses within our community. They not sending these motherfuckers to Beverly Hills. We ain't gonna see no motherfucking liquor store in Beverly Hills. You gonna have to go back down to South Central or what? Compton or something, right? But they just let them come up into our community because we don't have no problem. We don't see nothing like that. I'm with a Latina woman, man. And it's inherent for them to spend within their community. All of the grocery stores we go to, they funnel that dollar within their community 16 and 17 times before it leaves, within a 30-day span. You know what I'm saying? But we own our shit. Nah, man. But I think Corey King wanted to speak. CK, you with us, bro? I guess he still ain't with us.
So let me say something.
Can I jump in on that?
Let me say this one thing, right? So you think, like you said, when people come over here from different countries, they get certain grants and loans, right?
Not all the time.
Because
they get
not all the time, but you figure that the reason why the United States treat foreigners and other people a little bit better is because they actually have governments to do business with. We don't have our own government. They give us money. We work for them. No, we don't have no country, embassy where we could go to and do business with the United States.
True. It could be that's not necessarily true. It could be somebody who's an engineer, right? They might have went to school in China, right, or Korea or something, right? And they the best of the best. So they invite those type of minds, those type of talent, and they give them incentive. But not just them. It's that's the joke that everybody knows. If I go to East LA right now, at those markets, it's gonna be zero black business, just like it's like a 1% population of blacks in the community. You go to Chinatown, they go spend their money with their people. Koreatown, say they even got midget town, where the midgets go spend money in the midget community in Long Beach. So this ain't nothing rocket science. The midgets ain't got no motherfucking country where they all come from.
They dead ass got a midget town.
Dead ass, bro.
Wow.
Wow, that's crazy.
The Jews in Hollywood and all of that, they spend with their people. They eat certain foods that's regular to their culture, and all of these different meats, and the businesses in their community are going to reflect that. They're going to have kosher foods and all of the things that's within that community. Just like you go to Koreatown, they're going to have majority of some of the best Korean food. Yeah.
But you see in these communities, though, they also
I hope nobody took offense when I said midget. I don't know what that like a slur.
Little people. Yeah, they do kind of get offended by that. But
Maurice, I shot you down because you weren't mic'd up. You came up and you was getting a lot of feedback. I pull you right back up, but mic up.
Eggy Egg said he got an audio of something that could relate to what we was just talking about.
Eggy Egg always got some heat. Go ahead, Eggy Egg.
They don't have trust. They don't trust each other. You can't trust each other if you don't have a community. A community comes first. Once you get a community, you get to know people, then you move up to the next level, you trust them. Once you learn how to trust people, then you move up to the third level, you begin to cooperate with them. And once you learn how to cooperate with them, you get to the fourth level, you start holding them accountable for what they're doing wrong. The same thing in business. In business, you're building a business operation, and competitiveness and powernomics is a 5-story building. The first thing you all should be doing, as I said, get you some institutions like the chamber and start teaching, acquiring wealth and power through operating businesses. If you build an economy, that's a 5-story building. The first floor must always be economics. Always build an economy before you do everything else. The first floor is the economy. The second floor is politics. The third floor is the court, police departments, the enforcement system. The fourth floor is the media. The fifth floor is schools. Now again, you've been bamboozled on that because they keep telling you that you go to send black folks to school, jump to the fifth floor, and try to come back down. Education can't do nothing. Education is just a tool. You start with your economy. Once you build an economy, a viable, competitive economy, by making your money circulate 8 to 12 times, you take that money and you move to the second floor. The second floor is your politicians. Don't worry about vote. You don't have to vote. People that got money, whether it's organized crime or wealthy people, they don't have to vote. You take your money on the first floor, you buy every politician on the second floor.
Dr. Claude.
That was dope.
That's some gangster shit.
And once you win a lease, those politicians buy them on the second floor.
As funny as it was the truth, though.
And they start shooting and killing black folk all the time. They come up with new codes of conduct. Then once you get to the third floor and get the police and court system straight because you can now effectuate it, then you go to the fourth floor. The fourth floor means media. You cannot own television stations, radio stations, and daily newspapers if you don't have an economy. I hear black folk crying all the time. I have 2 radio stations. I just have 4. You cannot have a media operation unless you have an economy. Who's going to buy your time, your ads? You got to have an economy to buy the time. And so you got it. Right now we have 12,000 radio stations in the United States. We got about 12,000 cable systems, 5,000 daily newspapers, 5,000 TV stations. Black folk own 35,000ths of 1%. You can't even communicate. You can't communicate, you can't organize. You can't get communication because you don't have an economy. And once you get enough money, you put your medium up in the fourth floor. Then lastly, you tell the fifth floor, which is a school system, say, here's what we want. We don't want any more black basketball players and football players. Every black right now, a successful black, has got some kind of an illicit relationship with a ball. He's either running with a tennis ball, basketball, golf ball, football, sitting on jokes, selling jokes, until he's having the ball. Just get away from that. And see, from now on, you try to raise kids that can produce something. The producers will be the people survive. Right now, black folk are zero producers and 100% consumers. You're going to get totally wiped out in this country and wiped off the face of the earth under globalization if you don't learn how to produce. But vertically, you produce something at the bottom level, then you go up and you have other blacks coming over you. If I'm producing fish, 1 million pounds of fish a year, I want blacks to come in at warehouse, wholesale, distributor, and retail. I want to see some black lobster restaurants in the country.
Facts. That's the gist of it.
Man, all that shit sound cute, but niggas can't even communicate properly.
Nah, we not gonna even talk like that. We not gonna bring that up.
Well, hold on.
One mic, y'all. Hey, Black. I appreciate your feedback, right? But this come down to like a cup half empty or a cup half full, right? And it's ironic that after motherfucker give you opportunity to speak, and the man just made it in layman's terms what we need to do. Solution, not the problem. He listed all them problems, and he told you what the solutions were. So it's either motherfuckers is here to talk, or you really trying to put it to work. He made it as simple and as funny as it could be, but it was real. And you choose to look at the cup as half empty.
I just want to add, Claude Anderson got the resume to talk. He just not talking.
What was his name again?
Dr. Claude Anderson. Power. What is it? Power Economics.
Yeah, Powernomics.
Powernomics. Yeah, I read his book. I didn't know that's who that was.
Yeah, can you back channel me the information? Because he got me highly intrigued.
What you know about Dr.
Because look,
I'm gonna tell you.
Let me say something.
Is YouTube Dr. Claude Anderson? You're gonna get everything you need.
I got you. Hey, so let me say something. Let me say something real quick, right? I'm sitting back, and I'm listening, and I'm observing, right? That's the best way to learn, right? So I sat here and watched a large push forward and a small push back. You know what I'm saying? This man gave us all this positive reinforcement and information, and then just one had a pushback for it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Either we all gonna roll together, or somebody gonna hang their feet out the boat and just let it, and just chill back and play with the water with their feet. You know what I'm saying? So we need to change our mind state, right? Now listen, me and my wife created a plan for ourselves, right? And we say, yo, look, we came from this. We came from the hood, from the projects, from the gutter. Okay, we got a house, we got 2 cars, we got all this stuff, we got good jobs, life insurance. Okay, great. But our credit was shit. So we said our mission is to raise our credit up to a certain plateau where people couldn't tell us no. Because we hate that word. You know what I'm saying? This is what I want. This is what I need. You know what I mean? And I would like to implore a lot of us to do that so that we can unify our credit and unify our financial capital to build whatever the hell we want to build. You know what I'm saying? Because it can't be just built off of talking dreams. You know what I mean? So, that's one solution. That's a start. You know what I mean?
And I want to say something too, like,
For those that's in the chat or on this stage, wherever you at, but you here with us, how many of y'all been in a room like this where you getting game like this? Because I know I ain't been in too many rooms where you got people that I'm saying like, yeah, this is the homie, and they giving you game like this and to motivate and push forward, on a positive note. You know what I'm saying? So, that's all I wanted to say. It's the boy Stats 280 and me and Lamonte, Pink Sugar, War, we all in here. And we basically trying to put something together for all of us. You know what I'm saying? This is bigger than us, basically. See, if we have that mentality where we start looking at things as bigger than us, then we'll see that we'll be aiming more for cultural differences. Generational differences. Everybody want to talk about generational wealth. But how many of y'all in this room right now have life insurance? We need to start taking these things and applying.
Yo, Stats.
Can I say something real quick?
You know what's really weird? As an older male, right? I just turned 46, right? I look back when I was a youngin', and remember when I was out there banging and acting crazy and doing all the wild stuff, and didn't have life insurance, bro. So instead of leaving my family with some substantial wealth to do something with a life insurance policy, I was prepared and willing to leave them with a debt, with a bill, bro, Word. That's what we doing out here. And a lot of us are really doing it. A lot of us got bad credit. A lot of us face ain't even good in our own financial institution. Alone, are you serious? Go get up out of here. Stop playing. That was a joke, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like, we gotta change. We gotta change our habits.
Who was that asked to speak?
That was me.
Oh, go ahead, Black.
What I was trying the point I was trying to make, right? What he said with communication, right? If we can't even agree to disagree and come to an understanding without somebody catching feelings, because I've listened to many of these conversations and people disagreeing and then turning to pull up, oh, do this, I'm gonna do that to you, and if we can't even come to simple understanding, how we gonna build for our future?
You know how we can do that? We just don't deal with those people. Simple.
Yeah, it is. It's very simple. You work within your own circle. Don't worry about the rest. You got to start with you and decide you're not going to complain. You're not going to look at everything negatively, and just move forward positively. Stats made a very good point about businesses. We have people out here who think that having the most expensive watch is some, sign of prestige and status. But then you have Black-owned watch companies out here who need our support, should have our support, and actually I do have their watches because I refuse. I'm not spending a whole bunch of money on a watch just to say that I have such and such when I should be purchasing Tally and Twine and supporting those brothers out of Virginia who have just as good quality watches as anybody else. So, when it came to the whole George Floyd thing, there was a big push for Black-owned businesses and to support Black-owned businesses. And it seemed like after Juneteenth, everybody just went back to their normal way of life. Where with me, anything that I'm looking for, anything that I'm trying to do, whether it's a service or a product, I'm going to Google and try to find a Black-owned business for whatever it is that I need. And if I absolutely can't find one, then I'm going to find someone who's Hispanic. Then I'll go to whoever. But we need to start changing the way that we do things in life. If you need a plumber, look for a Black one. If you need clothes, look for a black designer. If you want jewelry, look, you know what I'm saying? Whatever it is, a chiropractor. When I decided, okay, I'm going to find a chiropractor, I went and I searched until I found a black chiropractor. I mean, you know, even though it may seem small, it really is a big thing because you're changing the way you function. And the worst thing that happened was desegregation. We need to be together. Once we decided to dismantle all of that, that's when we went down. We need to build our community back up and keep our money with us.
But the thing is, we've been had black businesses and all that. There was more than one Black Wall Street. It was more than one area like Tulsa in the United States. So what happened to that?
It was taken from
Black, did you do your research on what happened to all of those Black Wall Streets? That wasn't because of black man or black woman.
So it wasn't.
Nope. I know it wasn't our fault, but why didn't we build that back up?
Because a lot of us got discouraged.
See, you gotta be careful with what you hollering about. No, because at the end of the day, you said, do you know what they really did to Black Wall Street? They didn't give a fuck about shit. They destroyed it. That's the only thing they was concerned about.
We ain't even gonna just say destroy the psychological, the economical, and then they physically bombed.
Listen, if you look up, if you look up the
we supposed to be the strongest people on this earth, and we can't rebuild back from scratch.
But black is signs of Black Wall Street in real time. You ever heard of Atlanta?
That's a fact.
That's a whole fact.
If you
I'm not even talking about Atlanta. I'm talking about the real new Black Wall Street in Carolina. Pink Sugar.
Yep.
Please speak on this so that they have a better idea of what we're talking about.
Down there, we supporting these businesses down there, or what are we doing?
Yeah, Black Wall Street across America.
I'm irritated. So, my thing is, for a person who has so many complaints, you got to start with you. What are you doing? How are you changing? What are you participating with?
Well, don't get I have an organization, and I'm a single father, and I'm raising my son by myself. That's what I'm doing. I'm taking care of my home first.
Yeah, but you just sound negative when they coming out with solutions. You just sound like a Debbie Downer.
Y'all 100% right. Listen, y'all 100% right that he sound negative, but don't get down on him. Listen, don't get discouraged and don't get fed up because we only strong as our weakest link. Each one teach one. So he feel disgusted. He feel despairing. So it's our responsibility to let him see the light that it is of the motherfuckers.
How do I feel that when I'm asking questions?
Let me say this.
When I'm asking questions.
A lot of us go through the shit we go through, right? Because somebody don't see shit how we see it, right? So something so minuscule shouldn't be the shit that divides us. So he's in a room right now, and either we gonna embrace him to the point where he's able to have a voice amongst us, even if we disagree. He should be able to say this without feeling attacked. Even if we feel we should attack him. But why are we attacking our brother? If he gonna come along, he gonna come along.
See, this is what I'm saying. This is communication. If you have a disagreement, we should be able to come to an understanding. It should not be no attacks on anybody.
But look,
I'm not attacking anybody. I'm just asking questions. I'm being inquisitive.
But you gotta also remember that this didn't happen overnight to black people. This happened. This was hundreds of years in the making.
maybe even thousands of years in the making, quite honestly. But you know what I'm saying? So it's not going to be something that can be fixed overnight. If it took hundreds of years to break black people down, it's going to take even longer to build us back up, and it got to start somewhere. But not having that mindset is the wrong mindset to have. You know, the first thing is
I don't get that. I don't. I just clarify.
What I'm saying is, it's not something that's gonna happen overnight. Like you can't break the way this system is set up. We have to first get our people in office, so that takes time, and we gotta support our people in office to take over in our communities by sitting back and not voting. That's one issue. So we have to promote voting in our communities, and on the local side, fuck a president. I mean, on the local community level. That's one way. The other way is also black people need to understand that we have to go out and try. So try to go for a loan. You'll never know what you need to do to get a loan for a house or a mortgage if you don't go and try. When you go through these systems and you go through the process, you see where the flaws are, and then you can help make those adjustments by implementing your own knowledge or your own research, or by like I said, participating in your community, voting, getting into the city councils, trying to get somebody elected that you know has the same agenda that you have. Those things, or you do it. I know a dude who went to prison, came home, and then went and became a councilman for his city. So like these are the things that you can do. Like it doesn't mean just because you had a bad childhood or you had a bad history in your neighborhood or whatever the case may be that the doors are shut. It's about what you do after that matters.
I'm gonna highlight y'all like this.
So what about getting these kids off the streets? What about that?
Let me just say this though.
Because they glorify this shit. Like these niggas come home from jail, and these niggas be giving them cars or whatever, and these kids are seeing this shit and they looking at it like, oh, I could do 10 years in jail, and I could come home
right there.
and I could do that.
Pink gave you one. You doing one as a black man raising your son. You have an obligation as a black man to get a black woman in your life. That's one. Staying on code. Pink Sugar said it. If I'm telling you it's businesses down south, black businesses, you just gotta get on Google.
I know it's a bunch of those. I know
the next one.
Another
step is communication. We communicating right here.
Yeah,
it's just about the conversation.
Yeah, but if you have a difference of opinion, there should be an understanding.
What you're doing, I appreciate what you're doing, asking questions, But it depends what questions you asking and the language you giving.
But I have the right to ask questions.
Oh, you right. I appreciate the conversation. Ain't about nothing.
What's up to the room?
Let me holler this though, right?
Because hold on, I just said what's up to y'all.
What's good, Letitia? Sorry. Look, that's our intention.
Hey, bro.
Conversation is.
But that's how y'all feeling. How the Queens feeling, man? How the Queens feeling? Because I love when I hear Pink Sugar talk. How the women, I want to hear the women get involved because I noticed on Clubhouse, a lot of women don't have the opportunity to speak their mind because it's just 100 dudes yelling over in their voice. The dudes' voices all deep, so they getting drowned out. So, let's provide the floor for the women to speak their mind too, because a lot of times they be feeling like, they don't have a voice. And we want them, especially in this room, for the Eastern District. Y'all definitely got the voice. So y'all can speak up. Hold on, brother. Let her speak. Because we don't have the opportunity. I'm not saying we don't have the opportunity. We don't hear y'all as much as we want to hear y'all. And I want y'all to know that we want to hear y'all, first and foremost.
Please. Well, pardon me for having low tolerance right now, but it's 9 o'clock and I'm a little drained. But when it comes to trying to figure out what we are supposed to do as a community, you can't just throw out a bunch of different issues one after the other. So you ask one question, we give solutions, and then it's like, well, what about this? And then we start talking about that, and it's, well, what about this? That we don't get nowhere with that. We decide on what it is that we're going to tackle. You're talking over me. We decide what it is we want to tackle. We focus on that one thing until we get that improved. We might not be able to fix it completely, but we can at least improve on it. And then once we get that under control, more than likely that's going to help the next issue that we want to touch on. Or, you could form different organizations that are going to concentrate on different things. So then you can get different things done. As far as down here in North Carolina, yes, there is an organization here that's related to Eastern District that's rebuilding a neighborhood in Fayetteville. They're creating schools, so it's not just buying a couple of houses and flipping them and saying, "Oh, we built something." No, it's actually a real neighborhood. So it's schools included, banking, and real estate. So they're trying to rebuild something similar to a Black Wall Street. And yes, there were several, like Durham. Durham still is a very prominent Black city in North Carolina. So it's not just Tulsa. You had Philadelphia that was bombed. Things have happened and those are the reasons why those communities aren't there anymore. Just like the community, I can't think right offhand the name, Seneca, where Central Park is. They just said, fuck it, we want to park here, and just totally ignored the fact that we had a whole community there. So, and then you just had a lot of people who decided that desegregation just made more sense because for whatever reason they figured we want the same and thought it would be equal, but it's not equal. So, while we're over here trying to mix with other people, it's not a good idea. We need to stick together. So now, here's another great solution. If you have a bank account with a national bank like a Wells Fargo, PNC, whoever, close that shit and go open up an account with a Black-owned bank. There's plenty of them. All you gotta do is Google, and you will find them. They're here. They've been around forever. So, there's things that you can do to help the community. It's not overnight, and it may seem like I said before, it may seem like a little thing like opening a bank account, but if everybody follows suit, we'll get shit done.
Can I ask who know Black?
I didn't want to interrupt. I shot Black to the the bottom. First and foremost, we don't never want to seem biased. That's why I wanted him to stay up here because we don't want to just dominate the thing.
Fact.
But once Pink Sugar started talking, and he didn't want to mic up, and he laughed at her response, right? As soon as she began. Now we're talking about disrespecting of the queens, and we're not going to do all that.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? So he down here. I'm going to bring him back up now that she done, though. But yeah, I don't know the dude, but that's why we kept him up. We don't want to seem like it's one.
I know who invited
him. All I'm asking that because his vibe was never to be connected, like everything, and then you try to give our peoples a chance to be amongst us, right? Without seeming, ain't nobody trying to control nobody. We trying to figure some shit out. We'll talk. So, the greatest thing we got on this shit is to mute ourselves. I promise you, that's the greatest shit for us. To just shut the fuck up and just listen, no matter if you agree or not. And then you see people are trying to understand where you come from, and you refuse to give the proper understanding, and you just want to be inquisitive and live. I just asked a question. We know you just asked a question, and we just gave a fucking answer. And I don't give a fuck. We just gave an answer. The community gave an answer. It ain't about no individual. The community. You in the room. If you're in the room, that means there are 92 people here right now. Everybody has a fucking voice, right? Everybody got a voice. We should have a voice. 92 people should have a voice. Not to be shot down and criticized or beat up, but just to give the 92 people in the room different perspectives. And as a majority in the room, we should be able to come out with a solution. And if you don't, your voice wasn't, it's not even your voice wasn't heard, but if whatever you was talking about or howling about is not the solution, respect that. As opposed to creating a divide. Feel what I just said to y'all. No matter if we come in with our shit and we got, okay, this is how I view shit, this is how I do shit, but the majority said, nah, we ain't moving like that. We don't know how to deal with that shit. As opposed to understanding that the only thing that matters is the collective body. The only thing that matters, if I gotta sacrifice my little motherfucking ego and craziness for black folk, that's what we supposed to do. We'll talk. So you come in these platforms to figure out some shit, and if figuring out some shit means that your voice wasn't even heard, meaning we heard you, but nah, the whole said this is what it is. Respect that, man. Even if it's just muting yourself and not agreeing, but not to stir up division.
What type of division was I stirring up?
I'm not saying that you did that, brother. When
so
you
what are you saying? Because right now you're just talking and you're saying, oh, I disrespect this person, and you cursing, and you're being disrespectful, and all I did was ask questions. So what are you saying?
I'm saying, right, this room was not leaning towards your vibe. But we heard you. We listened to you. Man, we listened to you.
I'm asking questions. That's a wrong vibe by asking questions.
Nobody said that. I'm just saying
so what are you saying?
I'm saying your vibe.
You're
not the driver. My vibe. Can I say something? Listen, Stats know me, nigga. My vibe ain't. What are you talking about? Stats know me.
Yeah, man. Black cool.
What are you talking about? This is what I'm saying. This is communication. This is the type of communication I'm talking about.
Black.
How we ever build something and we can't even properly communicate.
Brother.
We can't communicate. Look how you talking to me. Did I disrespect you? No, I didn't.
I'm asking questions. I'm not just talking to you though, brother. I'm talking to 93 people. I'm not just talking to you.
Don't talk to them. Talk to me. Don't talk to them. Talk to me. We having a conversation.
We gotta talk to everybody. I ain't talk
to me. It's not a personal conversation.
I don't have a personal issue with you. I'm just elaborating on what's going on in the room. I don't know you, homie. All I'm saying is that every time we play, somebody played a tape of a brother teaching us, sharing with us, right? And soon as they stopped, right, you had something to say. I ain't gonna say if it was negative or positive, but it drew a response from the room. Not just
because I said we don't have proper communication skills. Because look at you, you're mad now.
It's the exact same thing.
I don't understand that.
I was asking questions. Let me show you how we build, right? because obviously you wasn't really listening to the brother, because he just showed you the blueprint on how to build, right? First, you recognize the problem. You begin to understand the problem. Then you move forward building. We've already been over on every blog, every show, all of the problems, and then we're from the community. So we understand what plagues our community, right? So you didn't come with just one question and doubt reiterating the problem. We passed the problem. We talking about moving forward step by step. Your first question was, how do we do that? So we gave you different methods. He gave you different methods of exactly how to do it, but it always starts with yourself, the way that you think, the way that your habit, not being a consumer in America and be starting to become business and supporting other businesses of melanated people, right? Then you came with another question. It was just like a real what's the word I'm looking for?
Pessimistic.
Pessimistic view, right?
What was the question I asked that was pessimistic? What was that question?
After he said
question that you asked.
No, tell me the question that I asked that was pessimistic.
Point out every problem black people have and every resolution we came up with. That's what you kept doing.
Okay, but I'm telling you that's the issue we have is communication, because right now we're having the issue.
We're not communicating. You also said, what are we gonna do about these kids?
Yeah, what are we gonna do about that?
Another negative. I'm already been working on that in my community, right? No, but it was just a pessimistic view. You want to focus on we do one thing at a time, right? The first thing is doing what you can do within your community, whether that be standing up and helping to register voters, or trying to overturn qualified immunity, or working with a kid in your community who his father's locked up or dead.
That's what I do.
Doesn't have a father figure, right? Okay, so I get that, bro. You ain't the only one. 90% of the shit I just told you, I do, and in my everyday life, and not just me, other brothers on this app. But there's more other things that you have to do psychologically, right? Stop coming with such a defeated attitude, like it's supposed to be easy. My grandfather told me this, and I hope that somebody should have told you this when you was young. You got two things against you: young and you black. First and foremost, so ain't shit gonna be easy. When you do get a job, right? If somebody hire you or your own business, you gotta work twice as hard, so that them motherfuckers biases and the narrative that motherfuckers, blacks is lazy, this and that, they be like, nah, I had that dude black motherfucking ass, bust his ass, love to work overtime, so the next brother get that opportunity, right? It's that same mentality. Ain't nothing gonna be easy. Ain't nothing worth having in this world gonna come easy. You know what I'm saying? So just focusing on that constant.
How do my student defeated? Like I didn't come up here blaming nobody for my problem.
No, you said that this was the defeated statement you made after the question. Was, well, black people can't even communicate, so basically we can't move forward from here because he said black can't communicate. But the reason they can't communicate is this.
Can we communicate properly? Because he just disrespected me. I didn't disrespect him.
I didn't disrespect you, brother.
And I didn't see it like that, Black. I'm sorry.
Hold on, he's referring to
Peace to the chat. Peace to the chat. Lamonte, can I say something? Hi, it's Dr. Moon, everybody. Salute to the Titans.
That's energy.
Salute, Foxy. Go ahead.
Peace. So my sister, Pink Sugar, had mentioned something as far as with integration. That was our downfall. And also want to salute Stats for putting up Dr. Claude Anderson in the room, because that is, if people want to find out what they can do and get some blueprints, that man right there, his books, his knowledge is what is needed in the Black community. And I have mentioned his books a couple of times. And this is how we start and we take baby steps. Because as they say, Rome wasn't built in one night. And we know there is a lot of things right now that are shifting, that we are on the coming up. And if we don't see it that way, then we're going to fall through the wayside. And those people we cannot pick up. I'm sorry. We can't help everybody. That's just the realism of it all. Though we want to have a mindset where we can help, we want to help everybody, chances are, one out of the two are not going to fall suit, and then you're just going to have somebody who's going to be just sitting on the sidelines. So those who want to get involved, get involved. Start off like Pink Sugar said, go with, patronizing your fellow so-called black communities, and starting from there. If there's a mother or a woman who's homeschooling children, and you know about it, get some donations. Go to 99-cent store, get some book supplies, school supplies. If she's got a daycare, ask her if she needs diapers. Go to Costco's, BJ's, little things. You don't have to be monumental. Not everybody's going to be on that platform, on that podium where they're going to be the higher ups. We all got to play a part in the cobweb, in the corks, and we all got a little role to play, no matter how big or small it is. So, that's my little thing. Also, integration. It kind of was our downfall, because it's like, our great grandparents or grandparents was doing this whole civil rights thing, which actually was a human rights thing. They don't want to talk about that, because that's what it really is. It's not about civil, because in the eyes of the law, Black people are civilly dead. So it's not human rights. It's not civil rights, rather. It's human rights. We're fighting for our human rights to be here. And we need to, while it's cute that, most of these Caucasians look at us and they're like, oh, yeah, can't we all just get along? No. Malcolm X told you, no, I don't need you here with me. Go tell your people how to act right, and I'm going to handle mine. And we're going to do us. See, and when we start involving other communities and other people, this is how we fall through the wayside, because they look at us as entertainment. They're not looking at us as doctors, lawyers, teachers, professions, blue-collar workers. They're not really looking at us like that. They're looking at us like food. So I don't have a problem with, if it's about business, then it's about business. But I don't want to be friends with you people, and I know secretly that you have this thing against me and my family and my color and my culture. I really don't want to do that anymore. I've done that. The fetching step. I'm not doing that. I'm going to stick with my own. And that means I'm going with the Hispanic community, the Black community, the Caribbean community, because that's all my makeup right there. And I'm going to patronize them. That's all.
And I just wanted to say, did somebody want to go first? I can wait. I was just jumping in. Salute to the room. Thank you, Lamont, for letting me up. Thank you, Pink. How's everybody? How's the moderators? And I kind of came. What's going on? Yeah, not a whole lot. Y'all know y'all get me fired up. Every time I come in this room, it's like going to school. So I appreciate it. I get my notepad when I come in this room. So I appreciate that. I just wanted y'all to know that. And I came in on like halfway through the discussion. So you guys were already into your discussion. And I just wanted to point out mental health. I know I heard Sister Pink said, we talk about multiple issues and it doesn't get us anywhere because, we're all, I guess, throwing our suggestions in this basket. And Pink, you let me know if I'm in the right direction here. But I feel that we do have all of these issues and we've got to attack them all. How do we choose to do that? That's going to be the part there. We're going to have to go line by line, guys. Unfortunately, I mean, as I heard one person speaking saying that it took as much time, as much damage as it took to get us here, it's gonna take that much time to reverse the damage. So I don't want us all to be so aggressive towards one another. This is our time to understand what we're up against and really zone in on how to fix the problem, because each and every one of us that's on this stage can say, hey, well, I have this issue. And like Sister Foxy said, well, we should go about it this way. Each one of us will have a different narrative of what we want to push, right? So how I would say go about doing it is just think of it in a fast-paced speed, but at the same time, you're gonna have to go as gentle with it and line by line with it as if it was a hooked on phonics situation. And I know some of us are at different stages in our revolutionary studies and fight against this thing, but we're going to have to take it back to a hooked on phonics level, line by line. How do we solve these issues? And we just take them one by one. So, for example, somebody said it was 90 something people in the room. So then we get 91 suggestions and we go line by line on which issue needs help the most. And then we take it from there. It's not going to be done overnight. So I just wanted to address that. But I zone in more so on mental health. That's my area of study there that I would like to see Black folks and melanated folks focus in on is the mental health, because if you're not thinking properly, you're not gonna act proper, you're not gonna speak proper. So we have to babysit that mental health part of what's been tearing us down. Number two, I think Wolf did an excellent job with explaining how we are to communicate with one another, i.e., let each other speak, let someone say what they have to say. And that just proved my point on the mental illness part of it, as far as the mental health, that we're so emotional that anything can trigger us. Just an interruption in conversation will have us screaming at the top of our lungs, cursing each other's out, and ready to pull up. That's a problem for me. And to Brother Black, I feel where you're coming from. I can't say I feel you totally, because again, I just came in to the discussion, but just from listening to you, just that little bit, you sound so like you're on the defense all the time. And that's normal when we've been under the system of white supremacy that we've been facing. So his reaction, ladies and gentlemen, is the reaction of what to be expected, right? And then Foxy said something very important. Do something in your community, even if it's just offering to buy the daycare lady diapers and milk, or going to the store for her. See, that way she don't have to leave the kids unattended. There are things that we can do, but I propose us not to be so angry with one another that we can't hear each other to actually solve the problem. And then I'll land it right there. And thank you to Stacks for acknowledging, and I don't know if he's still on here, that the women do need to be heard as well. I appreciate that, and I'll land my plane.
Thank you, Kentucky.
Can I say, like, I agree with, as far as the mental health, this is what I was trying to say from the beginning, is the communication. I sounded defensive because he disrespected me. I didn't curse at him. I didn't call him a nigga. I'm speaking to him, and he just, shut the fuck up and listen and all that. Like, you don't need to do all that. You understand what I'm saying? This is what I'm talking about with the mental health. That's tied into everything.
Not me. You said I said shut the fuck up. I don't talk like that.
You said listen and shut the fuck up.
I ain't never tell you shit. You can replay this.
Nobody told you that, bro.
No, I ain't never tell you to shut the fuck up.
Whatever you said.
No, you can't say whatever I said when you saying I told you.
I
didn't tell you to shut the fuck up.
You said listen and shut up or something like that. You said something.
Nah,
brother, he said if people would just shut the fuck up and listen, he wasn't directing this to you, bro. It wasn't a direct.
And Black, again, I just came in the middle. I didn't get that. I don't think he was, I could be wrong, but I don't think Brother Wolf was directing it solely to you, because I took it like he was teaching at that point.
Yeah.
So if it don't apply to you, Brother Black, don't.
I will say this. If you felt that way, nah, I will change the narrative for you if you allow me to. Good. I'm never gonna tell you to shut the fuck up. I promise you that. That's disrespectful. That's fighting shit. That's getting it. That's divisive shit. Nobody ain't going. The only motherfucker I have told that to is this no silly nigga. Anybody else I have not done that to, and that's not even excusing me for doing that to him in front of us, right? I'm learning.
So I misunderstood. My fault.
Nah, you good. I'm learning. I don't.
That's where that communication
like
comes in.
I wouldn't talk to you like that, brother. There's no need for me to do that because, like I said, I'm here for us to unite. So for me to talk to anybody, I don't even like when they say women get to do this, to that, the third part. Equality is equality. Don't talk to a woman like that. Don't talk to a man like that. But I get it because of the testosterone that be in these rooms. So you gotta be vocal in allowing women to speak. But that's like I got a wife. I don't like my wife. Listen, man, my wife curses me out. That's like me saying, you can't do that to me, but I can do that to you. Nah. If I can do it, she can do it. Bottom line. You know what I mean? And I promise you that. I mean that. But I didn't come here to be black. I'm trying to figure some shit out, man. Because I was caged up for 17 years. And to come home after leaving at 21 and come home at 38, this shit is different for me, man. This is a whole different planet. A whole different world for a nigga like me, man. Real talk. I'm still trying to figure shit out after I've been home 9 years. I don't like what the fuck is going on out here. I'm seeing so much violence. It wasn't like this, man, even though it was violent. But now we get to see this shit. Now we get to, somebody can send you 50 tapes, videos rather, of people dying, black folk killing each other. We got to see the tape of Mo 3, King Von, Nipsey, Dukes. You serious? This shit is crazy. So the last thing I am doing after experience what I experienced is disrespecting you, brother. I want to learn because I'm trying to figure some shit out. As a 47-year-old black man, I need help. And the only way I'm gonna get help is from my people, man. Real talk, though, because I don't know what the fuck is going on out here. Shit is crazy. I don't expect y'all to understand us when we coming from 20 years, 15, 30, and y'all been out here living y'all lives. Our shit was interrupted, no matter if we called that upon ourselves or not. I'm just saying, yo, man, the last thing I'm doing, brother, is trying to silence your voice, man. But this is a collective thing right now. So your voice ain't got to be the loudest, but it's a voice that's heard. It ain't got to be the loudest for any of us. As long as we are hearing each other, we can figure some shit out. if we're not hearing just one of us, that ain't cool, man. It ain't. Every voice should be heard. But even when being heard, that voice gotta understand it's not the only voice. So you may have 90% of voices that ain't vibing with your voice. This doesn't mean that we should hate each other because of that or go against each other. It's just saying I got a voice, but the majority saying we should move this way. If you for the cause, you going with the 90%. If you just for you, you're gonna cause a divide. Period.
So what I said that I caused? You think I tried to cause a divide? Or?
Ask the room that, brother. I don't want to answer that. Just let other people answer that, because I don't want to see bias. Let somebody else answer.
Because the other woman that came on, she pretty much mirrored what I was trying to say. Like, we have all these issues, and our main issue pretty much is mental.
Do you have any suggestions, though?
Any suggestions? We got to tackle mental illness. That's really because a lot of us came from broken homes, single mothers, foster homes. Niggas he said he just came home, whatever, he been in jail almost X amount of years. That takes a toll on you trying to grow as a human being, trying to live your life.
Maybe that's
so where do we start at? So where do we start?
All right.
How do we do that? And how do we start?
I would say that. I can answer that.
We gotta have proper communication.
No, no disrespect. I want the brother Black to answer that, please.
I heard you.
Like I said, we gotta learn to have proper communication with each other. You feeling something, we gotta learn how to speak and talk and disagree without it going somewhere else. This is the problem. This is why there's so much violence, because people don't know how to communicate. We don't know how to talk to each other.
Let me ask you this,
They think it was cool back in the day. Somebody bump into you or step on your sneaker, you to shoot them.
Let me ask you this. Cool. So, what do you take from the night? Everybody in this room, do you think we know how to communicate with each other?
Right now, we communicate. Right now,
hold on. Let me just.
Right now, we communicate.
We've been doing this, right? We've been communicating, and I came to this after they initiated this room. When I came in, salute. I mute myself, right, to see what's going on in the community. And as I listen, okay, now I can share because I got a feel or a vibe of what's going on. So you saying we didn't, I promise you, you saying that, we've been doing that though.
I never said I wasn't. I said right now, me and you communicate.
We all have been. It ain't about being you. I'm just telling you that. It's about us. It ain't about being you. Because other people are here with us. They concerned about us. Potentially going to die for us. And they willing to sacrifice and be here. We'll talk though.
Yeah, and I'm sure they have questions as well, but they're not asking. I'm asking questions. This is what I was doing.
I can't do this.
I think as far as solution wise, like when they saying, okay, what is our solution for mental health? I think some solutions would be, let's start talking to not even just the youth, but you know, our brothers and sisters next to us, even the people that's the same age, and letting them know, like, hey, you know, it's okay to go see a therapist. It's okay to write out, you know, what you've been through to get that outlet. It's okay to do these type of things so that you can start getting that help. Because sometimes it's hard for a person to fully communicate properly when they're going through a lot mentally as well. So before you can even get to that proper communication, sometimes you got to have an actual plan to tackle that mental health. So I think the better question is, what are the solutions that specifically to tackle the mental health, such as we know as like therapy, or maybe even something as simple as, you know, like, we a lot of times we talk about men, how, you know, at an early age they're told not to cry, not to show emotion, this and that. Well, maybe we need to start telling our brothers, you can show emotion, you can let it out, you can talk to somebody, you can have vent, you know what I mean? And that will probably even loosen up some of that and this and that. So I think we need solutions specifically to attack that, so that we can have proper communication, so that we can be on the right track of mindset, so that we can start doing other things.
I agree with you.
Rev, I think that you're unmuted. Did you want to say something?
Who was that?
Rev, down at the bottom.
Oh, hello?
Yeah.
There we go. I'm sorry. It was muted and unmuted. I wanted to say, as I listen to everybody, so I come at this from a more therapeutic and spiritual place. And the question was posed, where do we start? And we talked about communication. Before you can have communication, you got to hold the space. So what does that mean, holding the space? We're all made of energy. And so one of the things I appreciate about this room is that you try to keep the negative energy out. And so those who are intuitive, meaning that you are in touch with who you are very self-aware. You can feel when the energy shifts in this room. Even though it's virtual, energy transcends space and time. And so when you feel the energy changing in the room, then we have to hold each other accountable to make sure that the negativity stays out of the room. So whether we call that testosterone, whether we call that trauma, a lot of times what's happening is, as conversations are going, all of us have been traumatized on some level or another. And sometimes somebody will say something and it will trigger a traumatic moment that maybe you haven't thought about, or maybe you haven't even connected to that conversation. But when trauma is triggered, it manifests in aggravation, it manifests as anger, it manifests as irritation. And so for those who want to learn how to manage that energy, it's called holding space. And so for those who are more intuitive, and as everybody learns to manage the space in the room, that those who can feel the energy shift, then there's got to be a level of accountability, that there'll be a pause. There'll be a pause button hit. We say, wait a minute. The energy shifted in this room. We need to get it back to a positive place. And so before you can get to communication, you got to manage the space that you're in. And so for me, I appreciate how those who are intuitive enough to feel when the energy shifts, that's when you can hear the pause happen in the room and everything will stop. And then you've got to, it's kind of like, so I am a reverend, I am a doctor, so I'm spiritual and I'm clinical. And regardless of where you find yourself on the spiritual spectrum, we all have a level of spirituality, whether it's a 10, whether it's a 1, whether it's a 0, whether it used to be, could have been, would have been. There's a component to us that is beyond humanity, that connects us as human beings. Whether you call that your spirit, your soul, whatever you want to call it whatever you want to call it. It's energy. And when that energy collides with other energy, it can cause tension. And so for me, I study traumatology. And so when you think about how everybody has been traumatized, and the young man was talking about being gone for 17 years, being part of a systemic evil of incarceration makes you be a certain kind of way. And then when you come back to the social construct of society, it's traumatic because you're in one system and now you're being forced back into another system and it doesn't make sense. And so for those in the room, as you come into this room, just be mindful of the space, be mindful of your energy. And if it takes you a minute and you have to pause and say, wait a minute, am I the one bringing the negative energy, or am I the one just feeling negative energy? And then you find the language to express the uncomfortability of the negative energy, and then you bring it back to positive. You have to do that before communication, because if the energy is negative and the energy is feeling anxious and people are anxiety filled, then the language is going to mirror that. And so you got to shift the energy in the room first, and then you can move to communication. So that's what I wanted to say. Thank you.
Hey, Rev, thank you for saving me a long ass speech. Hey, can we reset the room?
Yeah, we'll up on there the fuck out. Who gonna reset the room?
I'll reset it. And first I'll say Rev is my first cousin, so I'm just showing off right now.
Yeah, you better.
Yeah, you
better.
Oh, I
better.
see now. No, I'm just playing.
Better.
Can I just say this, Nita, before you reset the room? Let me tell y'all that.
I'm just playing, Rev. I'm just playing.
No, you're good to go. I just want to say that me being so there's a difference between being conceited and being confident, right? So when I say that we are all energy, I'm a reverend, I am a doctor. So when I do come in the room, I just believe it's for reason and for purpose. And so I do counseling, I do coaching, I do therapy on trauma and spiritual stuff. And so anytime I'm in the room, if there's something in the room that is mental health related, if there's something in the room, if there's a question about spirituality, if there's something about pain, trauma, brokenness, we can discuss all of those things, and you'll get all of that I charge people for. You'll get it free. So just know when I'm in the room, and if you have something you want to ask or talk about, by all means, when I'm here, you got it.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, because I'll be hitting you up now.
Oh, Lord. How much time we got? Hey, hold on, real quick, Anita. After you reset it, can you see what the hell happened to Stacks 280?
What you mean?
He's not responding. I'll call him.
He been MIA.
He's posting up on the YouTube stuff though.
Oh, okay. Well, we gonna cut him
updating He's updating this on the top page of the YouTube, so maybe he's just lost into that.
Well, and I think that's the sister pretty much summed up what everybody wasn't able to communicate amongst each other, right? We all went and came with our own approaches to try to see, but it basically was an energy shift.
Yeah.
And where motherfuckers got momentum moving forward, and that started to become a distraction. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't necessarily the tone. I don't think it was disrespectful to Pink Sugar start talking and he laughed. You know what I'm saying? Now that's what we don't do in here in Eastern District. You know what I'm saying? Like the sister came in and said, when she thinks of Eastern District, and Kentucky said the same thing, they got to come with their fact. They got to come with their past. Mm-hmm. And they look at it and view it with positive connotation. The experience is here because we always build it. That being said, just make sure we build it forward with a purpose, and not just talking to talk.
That part. You know what I'm saying?
Wow. And y'all know me. The last thing I am, I should hope I have presented to y'all as disrespectful, man. Like real talk. That doesn't mean I'm not taking into consideration what he said. So sometimes when we not in agreement with an individual, we let the community police us.
The village.
That's a fact. We let the village step in so that whatever the village says now is law, not what me and the individual says. It's the village now. So if the village says, yo, GL, you wrong, I gotta take that. If the village says, black, you wrong, don't go about it like that. He gotta take that. And this is where we fail, I promise you, man.
What was I wrong about? I was
I'm not
fixing
fixing what I'm saying, brother.
Asking questions.
He's not necessarily. Hold up, wait.
Hey, Black,
not necessarily said that.
No,
you
he's definitely not even saying him. He's not even saying you, Black. Please don't get defensive again. That was what she just said. We don't need to do, right? Hear the brother out, and then we definitely gonna come to you, so you can voice
I was asking questions.
I'm good. I'm good.
He's
All
not
I'm
talking
saying,
about
the
you.
community is more important than two individuals. And if we don't understand that shit, man. So when you got these young brothers holding court or determining the lifespan of another black person, it should be us to determine what we gonna do with these niggas, man. It shouldn't be just two individuals, three individuals deciding the fate of millions. So I am not greater than this room. I don't give a fuck who know me, don't know me. I am not greater than 92 other black people. No matter my reputation, I don't give a fuck about that. So this is why I start getting like this, because the last thing I did or intended to do was disrespect you, Black. I muted myself and let the community speak. But you took it as if I was disrespecting you. And I will say this again. If you feel that way, I must apologize. But you must open up your heart and mind to hear what we are saying in this room as black folk. Like, I don't think you want to do that. Can you keep on saying you just asked a question? I never got mad at you for asking a question. Nobody got mad at you for asking a question. What we got kind of confused with was the timing, the reason, etc. Nobody took that away from you. Oh, you was in the goo came back. So nobody was trying to stifle your voice. But you wanted your voice and still want your voice to be greater than the other 92 people that's in this room with you.
No, I don't. I don't want my voice to be greater than anybody else.
All right. That's my interpretation of it. I could be wrong.
That's what I'm saying. So I can say that you're wrong for that, because I never said I wanted my voice to be greater than anybody.
Hey, bro, listen. No. Hold on. Let me ask you a question, right? You trying to like it sounds like you trying to be combative in everything that somebody's trying to say to you. Like sometimes, and listen, this ain't the room for that, bro. This really ain't. This room ain't on that. For real. Like it's enough of that going on. Like somebody trying to feed you something
to be combative,
because you always got a rebuttal for something that somebody say. You just don't take it, bro. You just can't take what somebody's telling you and shit on it. Like you just gotta have something else to come at somebody else with, bro.
Mute yourself.
Like you don't like you a grown man, bro. You ask a question. No, it ain't even about that. It's not about that.
Yourself first while you talking, Black.
It's not about that. It's not about that, bro. You asking one question. Somebody give you some food. Somebody give you some knowledge. You on to the next question. Just sit on the first question that you ask so you can try to dissect that and digest it, man. You want to just keep going and going and going and going. No. We don't do that, bro. We don't do that over here, man. Real talk. We don't do that shit. If you want to ask a question, on how do we get Black Wall Street back, what are you gonna do to get the Black Wall Street back? What can you do to get the Black Wall Street back? Where you gonna start at, bro? At the end of the day, man, it's listen, man. It gets aggravating because people just want to be combative and just like they want a verbal box all day. Like, come on. Yo, you people got up here and they had their spills and it was dope. Something for you to sit and listen to and eat that, bro. And you just gotta have something else to come back with. That's combative to what's going on. You're not even you really ain't even get a real solution to the first question you asked. But you got 2, 3 more questions you want to ask after that. On how? Like the question how ain't the first question of how ain't even got really solved yet. But you want to go to the second and third one. Come on, man. That shit is annoying, bro. Like, come on. Like, yo,
hey, Brick City on the set, I think that you hit it on 99.9%. But one point that you missed, the sisters specifically spoke on mental health ill, and that's where he had the most positive feedback and what resonated most with him. So if you observe it as a student of life, you're going to see what that issue really is. You 99.9% right on everything you said. But obviously the brother felt when she spoke on the mental health issue. And that's what he would like to talk about. Because I think that's something that he needs to work and build on.
He has been talking about.
If we listening, the answers come out, bro.
He been displaying what's going on with him, right? So
the sister said trauma, and that resonated.
That's a fact. So what I ain't trying to butt heads with him, right? And I know he's younger than me, right? So what we do, right? We save our home. If we don't, somebody else is gonna kill him. Listen to me, man. So I don't do fiction. And like I said, God is my protector. I'm not beefing with, beefing with nobody. I mean, outside of Snow Billy. But I'm not doing that with Black. So you don't hear certain things coming out, my mouth when it comes to him. What he got to realize that we are part of a group. And we only as strong as our voice as a group, our demeanor as a group. You cannot be greater than the whole. That's impossible, man. You can't be greater than the whole.
Never said I was greater than
the whole. I'm not saying that though, brother.
So what exactly are you saying?
I'm not with all this. I'm not saying anything. We saying something as a community.
You keep on saying that.
Can I say something? Can I say something? So here's the thing when it comes to communication, right? So we talked about holding the space, and now we're talking about communication. Too much is given, much is required. And so you got to understand how human development works. If you are more mature in a certain area, that means that you should have more patience with those who are not mature in that area. And so if you say something and your information is only working when the giver is giving and the receiver is receiving. If you're talking and the person listening doesn't understand what you're saying, then that means it's an issue with communication. That could mean various things. It can mean that you didn't articulate it right, or it can mean that they're not in a position or in a place to hear what you're saying. And so if just like I'm trying to look at the names, I don't know, somebody say Brick, And Brick, is that was who you was talking?
Black.
Yeah, Brick City.
Okay, so Brick City was talking to Black, right? And so Brick City, if you're talking and Black is not receiving what you're saying, one of two things has to happen. Either you have to get a hold of, because when you started talking, you started getting irritated. And you got to think of it like a parent. Your children are different. And if your children are going to 100 and then you take it to 100, nothing's going to get solved. And so if you're talking to Black and he's not understanding what you're saying, then you either have to re-articulate what you're saying, but first you got to calm down, re-articulate what you're saying to a place where he can understand it. He might not be in an emotional place to understand what you're saying. Like I said, everybody's been traumatized and maybe tone and different things or trigger different things. And so part of being a part of community is when you recognize that what you're saying is not coming through properly, then you tag somebody else into the conversation who can articulate it a different way. So here's what I think he was saying, Black. What he's saying is that if you're asking a question and then you get an answer to that question, before you jump to the next question, let it sit a minute and digest. Think about it, let it marinate, and then jump to the next question, because everybody can't go at your pace. So maybe at your pace, once the question is asked, you've processed it, you can move to the next. Everybody can't move that fast in their thinking. And so for the momentum of the room, if one question is asked and then everybody processes it and then move to the next question, that must be the movement of the room. If it's too fast paced, then people get lost in the process. So it's not that you're not listening. It's just that you got to follow the momentum of the room. If the momentum of the room is at a slower pace than you're thinking, then you have to slow your thinking down to meet the pace of the room. The room is not going to meet your pace. You got to meet the pace of the room.
I'm glad you said that because I was kind of.
I really appreciate what she just said, because maybe I was jumping here and there, maybe just a little bit.
No,
but that's just me.
And I understood you, Brother Black. Me too. I understood you.
Hold on. So what she said, right? This is what I see is when you're talking about platforms like this, right? If I come into I got my own pace, right? But I see it ain't my pace. So what do you supposed to do? What do you do when you enter something and the pace is not on your pace?
You slow it down or you speed it up according to.
So look, so what you do, if you really are for that the pace that's around you, you know it's good for you, and you know it's good for you. That's the key. You're gonna do what she just said. You're gonna either slow your pace down or speed it up. You ain't gonna try to hinder or put the pace at an erratic pace. You're gonna fit in line. You're gonna fall in line because you know that the overall picture is bigger than you, is greater than you. Real shit. So when you listen to the
I feel exactly what you're saying, GL. Ultimately, it's bigger than all of us when you living and trying to build for that next generation.
Fact.
You understand what I'm saying? And that's what we really working on. Man, I love everybody's feedback. The Queens, man. Hey, Stats 280 said we need to hear the Queens. Thank God they came through tonight, right?
I appreciate it. What's her name? Reverend? I appreciate it because she actually broke it down. Correct. Maybe
and see,
that's what I jump. Hit it like, you know what I'm saying? I don't spend too much time.
Do you follow this group, Black?
I just joined to I fuck with Stats. You know what I mean? That's my nigga.
Go up to the top, right?
I follow.
Hit that. Oh, okay, that's what's up, man.
we gotta get you a PCR too, but the black, you know, on IG and none of that shit. You motherfucking hit,
man. We appreciate. Listen, man. we appreciate the fact that he ain't on IG, but he decided to join our room, right? That he withstood the inferno of not having a popular opinion at the time.
I didn't curse none of y'all out. I ain't threatened none of y'all.
And we didn't do that to you.
And I appreciate that.
You see what I'm saying? Like, I ain't do none of that.
Because nobody threatened you over here. What we try to do, look, we got a saying, right? We still have a saying, right? And it still applies today. You fall, I pick you up. You hesitate, I push you. Because this is not like we not trying to do anything outside of get to a certain space in our lives as black folk and as individuals. We not like nobody like I don't wait like come on man. The shit that we go through as black folk, nigga, we should be the last motherfuckers to be hating or being opposition to each other though. Come on, man. Like real talk, especially on a platform like this, it's like what? We sharing right now. So the last thing anybody should be doing on these platforms is hating. But there's a lot going on. But not in this motherfucking room. Not in this room. Real talk. No underhanded shit, no shady shit.
I came in here to build, so
no,
we get that.
And you know what? And you know what too? Sometimes, you know what I'm saying, if it come from a different person, you know what I'm saying, it resonates differently and people grasp for that more. Because the way I said it and then the way Rev said it was more, you know what I'm saying, received better. You know what I'm saying? But the message was still the same.
You know
what
why?
I'm saying? Like,
I don't mean to cut you. It's the balance of man and woman.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Listen, man. So, you know, when Rev is howling at us, you got to, because that's the balance, man. So now he took something from a woman. She said the same shit we said, but it was with a woman's touch, with a queen's touch.
Yeah,
so as a man, listen, as a man,
and I said the same thing. He just took it from her.
No, he is. Look,
that's a family dispute. We ain't getting into y'all shit, pink shit.
I'm back in pink on. No, I'm just playing. I'm out, y'all.
When Rev said it, it was well received, and then I said, you know what? She actually makes some sense.
Right.
I didn't know. I didn't. Maybe Pink Sugar, you said it different. I don't know. But the way Rev said it, the way she broke it down, I can't argue with that.
And
because of her title, you felt safe with her. But you gonna learn that you could be you should feel safe with all of us in here, because this room we treat each other. We look at each other as family. We're not here to hurt anybody. Now, some of us have, you know, most of us have wild temperaments, but we all know that we're coming from love, but and you'll learn that.
Hey yo,
I know not in this part if you felt disrespected, if I laugh, but that's just me. Like, if you say it,
look, we all said.
If you felt disrespectful, I apologize.
It's all good.
We all said what Rev said, right? But Rev was the voice that got through to him. You know what I mean? So it's not like we all, I promise you, that was the voice, but that's what's great in community. Because damn, 90s or whatever, one voice got to him. One voice he was able to hear. But we was all on the same type of timing. So it doesn't matter if Pink Sugar was able to get to him, or Wolf, Wall, Brick City don't matter. Rev got through to him. Rev is a part of the community. So that's all that matters. So now, the community is not in shambles. We still able to progress without leaving somebody behind or have to ostracize or even go to battle with him. He's still here. He's still here. Yep. He's still here. That's what matters. And so we should be proud of ourselves for keeping this young man here, as opposed to kicking him to the goob, whatever the shit that is. Well, I don't know what the fuck that is.
No, but remember I said that because Pink Sugar got frustrated at the beginning, right?
Yep.
What's his name? Got Brick City got because to us it was real simple of what the brother was saying on the video. He put it in layman's terms to us. But our understanding ain't necessarily his understanding. That's why I was like, I don't want it to seem like we biased. We trying to understand exactly where the disconnect coming and the swing and the energy, right? But thank God it all worked out. The brother follows Eastern District. Eastern District, man, thank everybody for staying vigilant. Everybody moving with a positive agenda and hearing it out into the brother was with us. Now let's go back. Can we play the video one more time? We're gonna reset it.
I followed you back, right? Let's get the community manners. Cause next time I say hi to y'all, it's like
if I'm following you, follow me back. If I'm following you, follow me back.
I appreciate y'all with the patience because I'm kind of, you know what I mean? That's that Aquarius shit, so I appreciate y'all being patient.
No problem.
You should have told me that from the beginning. Then I would have knew what Aquarius is like to run shit. It's gonna be anywhere, no way.
I always laugh at Aquarius.
Hey, so do Capricorns.
Come on, let's go. Stat. Oh, now he disappeared.
That was Egg.
Oh, Egg, my bad.
Let the brother heal us some more.
Well, I could play it again, but can I play something first? I think it
man,
do
go
what
ahead.
You do, brother. Do what you do. Do what you do.
We with you, bro.
Do what you do.
A billion of you on the face of this earth, scattered all over the world. What do you need with a friend other than yourself? Why can't you turn inward on yourself and say, I will wear no clothes I don't produce. Start with your underwear. I wear no shoes that's not made by a brother. You're creating a shoe factory, employment at once. Start buying aeroplanes, break them down and study them, later on make aeroplanes. What this whole thing is about is the restoration of confidence. It has been the role of these handmaidens of colonialism to destroy your confidence in yourself. You don't believe that you can look like a God. You don't believe a black father in your home is to some extent a God. That won't make the black woman less than a goddess. Because we produced the first human society that recognized and respected the female God. We produced the first human society that said you can't be a king unless you got a queen. You can't be a god unless you got a goddess. So you can see all of these social ills that people are defending now, none of it started in our countries. I define.
That was Dr. John Henry Clark.
Dude, that's deep. You can't be a king without a queen.
Listen to the whole lecture.
Ooh, I'm about to make that my Facebook status.
They don't trust each other. You can't trust each other if you don't have a community. A community comes first. Once you get a community, you get to know people, then you move up to the next level, you trust them. Once you learn how to trust people, then you move up to the third level, you begin to cooperate with them. And once you learn how to cooperate with them, then you get to the fourth level, you sort of what they're doing wrong. The same thing in business. In business, you build a business operation and competitiveness and powernomics is a 5-story building. The first thing you all should be doing, as I said, get to some institutions like the Cox Chamber and started teaching, acquiring health, wealth and power to operate businesses. If you build a good economy, that's a 5-story building. The first floor must always be economics. Always build an economy before you do everything else. The first floor is the economy. The second floor is politics. The third floor is the court, police departments, the enforcement system. The fourth floor is the media. The fifth floor is schools. Now again, you've been bamboozled on that because they keep telling you that you go send black folks to school, jump to the fifth floor, and try to come back down. Education can't do nothing. Education is just a tool. You start with your economy. Once you build an economy, a viable, competitive economy, by making your money circulate 8 to 12 times, you take that money and you move to the second floor. The second floor is your politicians. Don't worry about vote. You don't have to vote. People that got money, whether it's organized crime or wealthy people, they don't have to vote. You take your money on the first floor and you buy every politician on the second floor. If you can't buy them, you rent or lease them. And once you rent or lease those politicians, buy them on the second floor, you hold them accountable to go to the third floor. And they stop the police from shooting and killing black folk all the time. They come up with new codes of conduct. Then once you get to the third floor and get straight the police and court system straight because you can now effectuate it, then you go to the fourth floor. The fourth floor means media. You cannot own television stations, radio stations, and daily newspapers if you don't have an economy. I hear black folk crying all the time. I have 2 radio stations. I used to have 4. You cannot have a media operation unless you have an economy. Who's going to buy your time, your ads? You got to have an economy to buy the time. And so you got to, right now we have 12,000 radio stations in the United States. We got about 12,000 cable systems, 5,000 daily newspapers, 5,000 TV stations. Black folk own 35,000 of 1%. You can't even communicate. You can't communicate, you can't organize. You can't get communication because you don't have an economy. And once you get enough money, you put your medium up in the fourth floor. And lastly, you tell the fifth floor, which is a school system, say, here's what we want. We don't want any more black basketball players and football players. Every black right now, a successful black, has got some kind of an illicit relationship with a ball. You need to run it with a tennis ball, basketball, golf ball, football, sitting on jokes, selling jokes, tennis having a ball. Just get away from that. And say from now on, you try to raise kids that can produce something. The producers will be the people survive. Right now, black folk are 0 producers and 100% consumers. You're going to get totally wiped out in this country and wiped off the face of the earth hit by the globalization if you don't learn how to produce vertically. You produce something at the bottom level, and you do it, and you have other blacks coming over you. Like I'm producing fish, 1 million pounds of fish a year. I want blacks to come in and warehouse, wholesale, distributor, and retail. I want to see some black lobster restaurants in the country. And you build, and I got about 2 more minutes again. And you build these vertical orders based on your competitive advantage. Start building your businesses where you have a competitive advantage. Your competitive advantage is black folk. Always build your business where you dominate in population or you dominate in spending patterns. I built the seafood factories. Why? Because blacks eat 3 to 4 times more seafood than whites, and you spend $9 for every $1 whites spend. You should be controlling the seafood industry. Do the same thing with leather. You do the same thing with your hair. Right now, blacks are the only people got a certain quality of hair, and yet the Koreans are controlling black hair care in America. And you watch you build these businesses like the difference between Detroit and Chinatown. You got it in Chinatown in New York. In Chinatown, New York, you got about a little less than 300,000 Chinese there. And again, in Detroit, you had almost 1 million blacks. I looked at the two and compared it. But in Chinatown, they had 35 banks, 35 Asian banks. Detroit, they got 2 black banks, and that's owned by the same one. How is it that almost 1 million people don't have 2 banks and 300,000 have 35 banks? I looked at the number of restaurants. The Asians had almost 400-something restaurants in New York. Black folk in Detroit had 3. I looked at that and I said, how these Asians are producing so well and have so much, and the Asians have the highest median family income in America. Here's what they do in conclusion. They build around their advantage. What is it that Asians eat the most of? They eat noodles. I would have found something like about 100 and some noodle factories in New York where they produce their own noodles. Now, once they produce the news, what do you put on the news? They put a sauce on the news. I found about another 60 or 70 companies that produce a sauce to go on the news. And I said, what else they producing? Then when I found that they had, I don't know how about 35 or 40 companies that make the little fortune cookies. They take care of their own people. That's why you'll never see Asians, Arabs, Hispanic, or American Indians out marching for integration or for social civil rights. They don't do it. They build businesses. I hope you all take care of it.
Deep. Now, who want to build on that, though? That's a cold following that.
I got a question.
I'm here.
I'm fucking with you.
I'm here.
Hey, Black on some bullshit.
We here.
Hey, that was funny as a motherfucker.
But everything he's saying, though, is a fact.
I'm telling you, my brother.
Everything he's saying is a fact. Especially when he hit on the hair industry, man. Yo, especially, and it's not a shot and a jab to black women, but yo, black women in I don't know if it's the world or just America, but
Yeah, because you about to say something crazy.
Hey, I'm finna hit my mic and duck because I see where this was going.
Oh, my bad. I got knocked out for a minute. My Wi-Fi kicked in. But
go ahead,
yeah,
bro.
man. Yeah, but I don't know where I got kicked off at, but yeah, man.
Just start back over then.
What I was saying was, you know what I'm saying, that it's crazy. Like I said, I don't know if it's the world or just the United States, but black women spend in the billions for hair products, and the Koreans control that, and that's crazy. My thing is just imagine if a couple of black women, you know what I'm saying, got their hands, you know what I'm saying, into it, you know what I mean, and started doing what the Koreans are doing. And that's just one way of how a part of Black Wall Street can start booming. Like that, yo, just a little piece of that, just a little piece will set it off, man. And then we following the black woman. You know what I'm saying? And doing things that, you know what I'm saying? And they showing, yo, we can make money this way too, just like them. If we just take certain blueprints and follow it, my thing is, if we want to get back to the Black Wall Street, we can. We just gotta take the blueprint and do it our way, man. And do it in the structure and correctly. You know what I'm saying? Without no malice, no envy or hate. And we do it the proper way, man.
Break, that's the problem. It's females actually doing that. Actually going to Asia, get their hair and everything. But when they come back to America, all the black people not on cold, they still go to the Asians to get their hair done. They're still doing business with the Asians. You can see the videos, the Asians do something, now they going viral because one of them got popped in the head. What they do, they still go back to the shop.
And they treat them bad, but check this out. I just Googled right, and they broke it down in 3 different groups, but in total, annually, black women are spending $1.1 billion on hair products per year, right? So now, imagine that we came out with a similar product. Our sisters or our brothers, it don't matter, as long as that money regenerated within our community, right? And we able to get 20% of that market per year. You're literally talking about $300 million regenerating back within our community. Just disrupt that market. Do what they do, but do it better. Right?
Lamonte, how do you convince the women to buy into that?
I'm about to say, Lamont, you gonna have to fight on your hands.
Listen, you don't have to convince a sister to do nothing when it comes to talk about go get that bag. Because a lot of us come from single mother homes where that was the only breadwinner, right? All we got to do is make it make sense like it do right now. You understand what I'm saying? I guarantee you, Anita.
I missed a little. You said battling to what?
He said, "How we gonna get sisters to buy into that narrative to make it make sense to the sisters that if they spend together as a collect, black women are spending $1.1 billion per year on just hair products. I didn't say nothing else with beauty, just hair products.
Let me tell you something about that. Wow. So I tried to do some shit before. Like I had a group that we tried to purchase. All right, it's like drugs. Let me explain. So Korea and shit like that, they got a lock on the shit where all that Asian hair that they be looking for and shit, they have it like, what they call that shit? A monopoly on this shit. Yeah, that's the right word. They have a monopoly on this shit, right? Where if you're not of a certain like ethnic background, if they know you black, they won't sell it to you type of shit. So you gotta go